Seconds remaining in the power play. Key to shot. Scores. Matthias Holm, and it is
on Sports 1440
and the Oilers Nation YouTube channel.
Break it up. It's given away. Steps for goal. Brock Besser, and there are hats flying here at Rogers Place.
Halley, little cheeky sky falling down. It is not, Oiler fans. This is playoffs, baby. It's a roller coaster. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, the Oilers, day off today, spoke to the media, did not skate. We will see tomorrow who is starting in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. No surprise, Chris Knobloch wasn't going to say it. Do I think ultimately it's going to matter who is starting in goal for the Edmonton Oilers as far as a game plan goes for Vancouver? No. It could matter depending on how they play, for sure. But do I think that Vancouver game plans differently if it is Pickard or if it's Skinner? I don't think so. So we'll see what unfolds. Obviously, Stuart Skinner needs to play better. There's no question. The Edmonton Oilers forwards need to finish better. And I think it's a little premature for people to talk like, Sheelovs has been unreal in the series. He was unreal yesterday. That's fair. Played a very good game, right? He was the first star of the game. Made multiple key saves. But it's not like he was stoning the Oilers in game 2, right? They still beat him for 4 goals in game 2. So they beat him for 4 goals in game 3. Like, they had 8 goals in their first 49 shots of the series. They only had 3 in 45 last night. Think about it. 8 in 49, and then you go 3 in 45. He had a really good game 3. But expecting that this is the norm against a team that was the 3rd highest 5-on-5 scoring team in the NHL, it shouldn't be. And the Oilers players should not for 1 second be like, oh my God, how are we going to solve Artur Sheelovs? Like, please. Yes, he had a good game. The Oilers hit some goalposts. Perry put one that looked like it was close, but obviously when you saw the replay, there's no chance that we're going to count that. It was too inconclusive. Right? Vinny Desharnais puts one right in the slot. Looks like it gets it through the arm. It comes out the other side, but obviously Sheelovs got enough of it to keep it out. He made the key saves. That's what you want from your goalie. Right? And the Oilers had a lot of chances. Sometimes you got to bear down. Right? When you think about it, so the Oilers scored on less than, what did they, none of their shots 5-on-5, right? 0. So I do get perplexed sometimes how everybody, the Stuart Skinner. Well, the other goalie's great. But aren't your forwards paid to score? Isn't that part of their job? They were the 3rd highest scoring 5-on-5 team all season. Right? They led the league in shots on goal, 5-on-5. Had the highest expected goals for 5-on-5. They have 2 goals from forwards through 3 games, 5-on-5. 2. David has 1. Hyman has 1. That's it. Defense have 3. And CC, Bouchard, and both of those goals went in off a Vancouver player. And then Matthias Ekholm scored 5-on-5. He also has a 4-on-4 goal. The vast majority of your goals are going to come from forwards. They need to be better. So does Stuart Skinner. Make no mistake about it. Stuart Skinner has to be better. Now, I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow. I could see the argument for why Chris Knobloch would go to Calvin Pickard. But I also understand why wouldn't. Right? Calvin Pickard hasn't played in a while. Right? Like, he played last night. I get it. But he didn't face 1 shot from under 48 feet. Right? It's not, I wouldn't put a lot of, Skinner really, or Pickard really got a good feel of the game last night. Right? His last game started was April 17th. Right, that's coming up. That'll be a full month on Wednesday. since he started a game. Now, he's never made a playoff start. Maybe this will be his first one. Maybe he'll play well. So we'll see where they go. But regardless of who plays net, they don't need stellar goaltending. They just need consistent goal. Like, none of the goals last night I thought were awful. They're just, you need a big save every now and then. Right? Just like those sometimes you need a forward to make a great play and score a key goal. And 5-on-5, second, third, fourth lines doing a whole lot of nothing. Right? There's lots of guys that have goose eggs 5-on-5. They need to be a lot better. I think the Oilers overall have controlled long stretches of the series, but they're down 2-1 because their goaltender hasn't made some saves that they'd like, and their forwards haven't been able to finish. To me, it's a combination of both. Yesterday, Derek Ryan, chance to get it out, doesn't get it out. Canucks score in a power play. Warren Foegele has puck, no one really on him. Tries a pass, I'm not sure what he's seeing. Obviously, the game's fast, makes play, turns over, boom. 2 seconds later, it's in the back of the net. Right? On the other goal, Ekholm and McDavid both rush, leave Brock Besser wide open. He had all sorts of time. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. You're a good shooter. Guess what? Where'd he go? Just inside the post. Perfect shot. So the Oilers, with the limited chances Vancouver had, Edmonton kind of gifted him a few of them. So they'll need to be better there. I think Edmonton's going to get a beneficial break. It's well-deserved. But Carson Soucy, I fully believe, will be suspended for his cross-check to the face of Connor McDavid. Now, Soucy spoke today, and he's already had his hearing, in case you're wondering. So he had his hearing already today. He said, hey, there was no intent. And I actually believe him. I don't think Carson Soucy was like, okay, I'm going to cross-check him right in the face. However, he was going to cross-check him. That was not just a little. That was a full-on bench press motion cross-check. He was probably going to do it in the chest. But Zadorov comes in from behind. He gets a $5,000 fine. Cross-chest McDavid. McDavid then kind of goes forward, leaning forward, and that kind of propels him into the stick. Now, that's not McDavid's fault, right? And regardless of what intent is, I don't think they ever suspend guys based on intent. Well, I didn't intend to hit him, right? You're still going to get punished. Now, maybe that lowers the suspension. I think that's fair. Right? There's different degrees. You can be found guilty of something at a different degree. So Soucy can be suspended, and they might take, well, we don't think he meant to do it on purpose, but he's still getting suspended, so it's one game. If we thought it was completely on purpose, then maybe it's 3 or 4. So there is a difference, but I don't think it avoids a suspension. I would be stunned. And so Edmonton, you got to take advantage of breaks. Carson Soucy has played the second most minutes amongst Vancouver defensemen against Connor McDavid. Myers has played the most. Last round, Myers missed a game, and Noah Jolson came in, and he played with Soucy. And when they played together with Soucy, they only faced Nashville's top line 3 minutes. They played more of Hughes and Roenick and Zadorov and Cole. So will we see the same thing tomorrow? I don't like it's if it's a 1-game suspension. Is Vancouver going to change 2 defense pairings for 1 game? They could put Zadorov with Myers, right? Lefty, righty, and say, okay, you two, huge defensemen, you're going to play McDavid. It's very possible. And I think if they consider doing that, then if I'm Chris Nombach, well, I counter with putting Leon Draisaitl on his own line. Leon Draisaitl is being the Oilers' best forward in the series. I don't think it's much of a debate. Being their best player in the playoffs. So last night, he was skating great. If he's banged up, he definitely isn't showing it. Good problem to have. So I would look at potential, and I might split him up anyway. But if they elect to go Myers and Jolson and they're going to play them against him, well, then I don't split them up because I'm like, this is a huge advantage. And our second, third, and fourth lines are not getting scored on a ton. It's not like Vancouver's depth guys are scoring a lot either. I get it. But they're still outscoring you 7-5, 5-on-5. So Edmonton needs to find a way to, when they have a good start, maintain the good start. Game 1, they're up 2-0. They lose. Game 3, they get the early goal. They give it up. They're down 3-1 before the first period's over. You got to be able to maintain and hold on to your lead, which I think will be key for the Edmonton Oilers. We got a loaded show. We'll talk about that. We'll get lots of your texts in on that. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Daryl Ray will join us. We've got Dallas and Colorado, the Stars, leading that series 2-1. And a lot of it just due to starts. They start very well. And they've won 2 of the 3 games. Colorado needed a great comeback in game 1 to win it, overcoming a 3-0 deficit. Gord Stellick will be by. Spec Kevin Woodley is going to break down the goaltending situation. And, we asked Stuart Skinner. We're going to hear from Stuart Skinner today, coming up in about 25 minutes. I don't like Stuart Skinner. You're not going to be able in 1 or 2 practices make significant changes technically to his game. Right? There's some small things, sure, you can refine, but Stuart Skinner has played deeper in his net than most goalies. That's not going to change now that it's the playoffs. Got you this far.
Until
say, okay, find out when's the time to play a little bit on top of the crease that makes you more comfortable. Right? Obviously, try to eliminate the sharp angle shot goals. To me, that's more of a technical thing. Position thing that's easy to consider. But I don't think suddenly you're going to ask Stuart Skinner to play way out on the top of the crease all the time. He hasn't played that way all year long. I don't know much about the goalie position, but I've learned that from talking to Woodley and others, man. You can't make significant changes to a player's tendencies and what they've done as a goalie all of a sudden in 1 or 2 practices in the playoffs. Not going to happen. So, we'll see. We'll see what they look like there. We'll talk to Woodley about that. Andy Petrillo will be by. As always, we'll get your thoughts. Phone line, text line, talk some NBA. How about the Nuggets-Mavs series? Mavs go into Denver, win 2 in a row, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, they're going to spank them. And then what happens? The Denver Nuggets say, wait a second. We're the defending champs. We're still pretty good. And I don't know how many of you watched that game, but I think something that gets overlooked sometimes, especially in the playoffs, is situational awareness. Right? You know what? When you give up one goal, you don't want to give up another one in quick succession. Right? You want to try to stem the tide. Don't let the other team carry momentum and keep building and building. Right? That's been a problem with Edmonton in the past. But anybody who was watching that Dallas game, not Dallas, but Denver and Minnesota. So Denver's up. They go up by 10 after Pope hits a 3-pointer. They go up by 10 with 18 seconds to go in the first half. You're up by 10. Shot clock turned off. You're Minnesota at that point. You're like, you know what? Let's just end this. We'll take the last shot. Maybe we'll be down 8 or 7. No. Edwards rushes it. They don't get it. They throw it up. Boom. Then they get a quick 2-pointer. Then Anderson tries to long bomb a pass up the court. It's intercepted by Jamal Murray, and he drains a 3-pointer from half court. Now, are the odds low that he would drain it? Yes, but guess what? He did it. And you went from being down 10 points to being down 15 in less than 18 seconds. Game over. Situational awareness. And I think it's, Warren Fogle, you have the puck in your own zone. Don't try a fancy pass there. Why? Just skate it out. Get out of danger. You're trailing 2-1. It's not 3-1. Right? Big difference. It's a difference in overtime or not overtime. So you got to have situational awareness. I think certain plays become magnified. They become bigger come playoff time. Hey, Gregor, on Saturday night, Nurse cross-checked Pedersen from behind head first and no call. McDavid high sticks Hughes in the face, no call, and Kane slew foots Hughes. Susie cross-checks McDavid, wasn't any worse, but he'll probably get suspended. Unbelievable spinner. Well, first of all, Nurse didn't cross-check Pedersen. It was a hit. It wasn't a cross-check. Hit him from the side, and then he went to the boards. Everybody has said McDavid's high stick should have been counted. I don't think there's any debate there. It's not a suspension. It's a high stick, right? It would be you're not in control of your stick. It's 4 minutes. That would happen all day, every day. There'd be no complaint. That was a missed call. No question about it. I really think the Kane, that's not a slew foot. Guys hit now, right? You take a guy into the boards, his leg is up, and then you lift your leg up. A slew foot is when your skate is on the ice and you whip him out, right? Too many people are incorrectly calling that a slew foot. Okay? But even if you want to say minor penalty, fine, but you're comparing apples to oranges, dude. They're not the same, spinner. this minor penalty should have been called is different than cross-checking a guy in the face when the game is over. Right? The buzzer sounded, the game's over. And he cross-checked him in the face. Cross-checks to face usually aren't 2-minute minors. I think we'd agree with that. I'm so tired of both sides. Vancouver fans, Oilers fans who whine about the officials. Stop it. It's embarrassing. Was there some calls both ways that were soft last night? Yes, both ways. The Nurse penalty, soft. I thought the Zadorov penalty, soft. Evens out. Oilers fans can play, wow, Nurse shouldn't have had a power play, sure. But fewer calls aren't helping the Oilers because they can't score 5-on-5. They need to score 5-on-5. Playing more 5-on-5 if you're not scoring just means you're playing more 5-on-5. To me, how's the difference? Hey, guys, I heard Skinner has the worst playoff career save percentage in the salary cap era from Boss Hogg. Well, Boss, you were obviously listening to the DFO Rundown with Frank Saravalli and myself today. Thanks for listening. Yes, it was mentioned on there. It's not been a great run for Stu Skinner. No question about it. And he'll be the first to tell you he wants to play better. They need him to play better. They don't need him to be great. Right? They don't need him to be great. Just be a little bit more consistent. And the thing was, yesterday, none of those goals were terrible. It's not like the Zadorov goal in game 2 or the Connor Garland goal in game 1. Right? Like, I think those are bad goals from sharp angles that should never go in. But yesterday, none of those goals I looked and say, oof, that's a terrible goal. He just didn't make a massive save. So, we'll see. Hey, guys, what's the word on Henrique? Well, I asked the coach about him, and, he mentioned, hey, he came back on Friday. And do I think they rushed him back? I probably do. I think, hey, I get it's playoffs. You want to play. But he hadn't skated. He hadn't really taken a lot of contact. Then he goes in a game, and now, like, contact in playoffs, guys leaning on you, we're talking like massive difference than regular season. And you got a wonky ankle, you got a sprained ankle. Anybody out there has ever sprained their ankle. You think it's good, and then all of a sudden you walk and you step on a pebble and your ankle moves, you're like, right? So now try to imagine in a playoff game. I get, because they could use him, no question. But I said it on the weekend. I didn't expect him to play Friday. I thought he'd play Sunday. But now they played him Friday, and guess what? He obviously aggravated it because he didn't play yesterday. So now we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him until game 5 or 6 now because he needs a little bit extra rest. That's always the risk anytime you do it. Hey, boys, what's up with McLeod? He doesn't hit anyone, just flies by. Breakneck speed, but doesn't do much with it. Montana to Rice. Well, M to R, that's who Ryan McLeod is. Ryan McLeod is not a physical player. Never been a physical player. He's actually been very good defensively. Very good. But, right, there's two. I don't even care if he doesn't finish his checks. I would like to see him do it, yes. To me, my bigger concern is he comes in with speed and he's got 2 plays. He comes down the boards and either circles behind the net or he button hooks. Take it to the net one time, please. Go with reckless abandons. Maybe you draw a penalty. Maybe you crash the net. There's a rebound. But it can't always be button hook, go behind the net. It can't. It's not. It's leading to nothing offensively. Nothing. But, like, I don't really get too worried about McLeod finishing checks because it's like, well, why? I could get mad at myself. Right? It's like, I don't know. Eventually, there's certain things I'm sure in your relationship. Not that there's a relationship between. I guess there is kind of a relationship between fans and players, sure. But in your relationship, there are certain things your partner does. They've done them for 15 years. Now you can either choose to say, well, that's kind of who they are. I've asked them. Maybe that's not going to change. It's clearly not a major deal breaker because you're still with them for 15 or 20 years. And so with Ryan McLeod, would you like him to be more physical? Sure. Is he going to be? Probably not. So I'd be more so, hey, can Ryan McLeod take the puck to the net? I think that's a valid, fair criticism. Because he can control it. He's not going to be a physical player. Never going to happen. He's good defensively, good transporting the puck, good on the penalty kill. I get all that. But the one thing I could ask him that he's capable of is using his speed and cutting to the net, not always going behind the net or the button hook on the half wall. So that would be, I'd be more frustrated about that than it would be the lack of hits because he's just never going to be a hitter. When we come back, Gord Stellick will join us. The appeal process come playoff time. I know you have the player in there. Usually you have your GM in there. How much of it is pleading for your case knowing you might be screwed anyway? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans, but for GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Over a calm, glassy lake, you cast your line. Your new Toyota sits majestically by the water's edge. A loon calls in the distance. Or a duck. Anyways, one thing's for sure. This moment isn't just a dream. It's an invitation to adventure. So stop dreaming. Red Tag Days are on at Toyota. For a limited time, lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 Double Cab SR5 from $164 weekly for 60 months at 6.99% with $6,899 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them
We continue on a busy Monday. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca. Thanks, as always, for listening to the show. Very much appreciated. Now, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And, hey, you've only got limited time left to get the cold brew at McDonald's if you want to try. It's getting hot out, satisfying, smooth, and irresistibly sippable. French vanilla or caramel cream. Try it today only at McDonald's. Gord Stellick, former NHL GM, now on Sirius XM, joins us. And Gord, I want to get your thoughts on when you go through the hearing process, the player, usually, the GM's in there. What's the role of the GM in a hearing for Susie? You saying anything at that point? What are you doing?
Well, okay, different eras as well, but you do like to make a case for your player, obviously, because it's impacting your team. Quite often, I think, they usually let everyone say their piece. I mean, it's, you don't get on it's not like you have a PowerPoint presentation and it's a half hour or whatever. So, I mean, that's just what I remember. A big part of course, you want to show support for the player. It's, quite often you're looking at something you kind of know, okay, there's going to be, you have to think there's going to be some kind of suspension or some kind of consequence. So that's kind of the way it is. I found it would be kind of, just look forward to everyone putting their, saying what they had to say, and then you could get more pointed questions asked. And if, at that point, if they're not asking you the questions, then just stay out of it and let it unravel.
Yeah. So you look at Susie, he had his hearing earlier today, and he's like, hey, my intent was to hit him in the face. And I probably agree with him, but it doesn't really matter what your intent was. It matters what the action was. And he clearly cross-checked him in the face. Do you see it being any longer than one game?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I know it's regular season. You kind of look at Morgan Riley when he didn't mean to hit Ridley Gregg in the face after he put the empty net goal in the Toronto-Ottawa game, but he did, and that's the way it was. And in his case, it was a 5-game suspension. So okay, let's say it's 2, whatever it may be. But that, if you ask me my opinion, I would think it'd be, because it's unacceptable. It's not a hockey play. It's a stick to a face. People sometimes, it's no big deal, or a guy can get really hurt. It doesn't take a lot for someone to get really hurt. And okay, I'm a little more biased. I'm biased about the stars in the game because I like seeing the stars in the playoffs. I'm not biased Edmonton versus Vancouver. Yeah. But anyway, that's where I think it would go.
Yeah, and that's fair. I look at Pietrangelo only got 1 game last year, so maybe I'm going off of that, and I'll be like, okay, it was in round 2, and he got a game, even though I actually probably thought that was worse overall than what Susie did. But still, Susie, if it gets 2 games, I won't be like, oh, I can't believe he got 2 games, because I can see it, but I probably think he'll get 1. Fair to say though, Gord, I think we're both in agreement he's going to get something, not just a fine.
Yeah. Agreement is going to be something. I think the next part you wonder, okay, the reaction, and it's not like decades ago. See, if you're the Oilers, there's no reaction about going out in the day and extracting justice, because then you're off your game and you're distracted. But it's the kind of thing that, okay, look what they did at the end. Do you come out with a purpose? Does that help you come out with a purpose next game or not? Or in some case, of the Vancouver Canucks thinking they've been able to, rub salt in the wound. So it'll be a little bit interesting, that if you want to call it game within a game.
Gord Stellick joins us. Gord, the Edmonton Oilers, I know everybody's like, oh, she lost. They can't. I'm like, they scored 8 goals in the first 2 games on him in 49 shots. That wasn't really a big issue. His last game, he was great. No question about it. But to me, as much as Stuart Skinner's got to play better, and we've kind of hammered that horse, I agree wholeheartedly. To me, there still comes down to the Oilers forwards got to bury their chances more. You're getting that many chances on a guy who's a 3rd-string goalie who has a .906 career save percentage in the American League. This is not a guy that should be, if he stones you 1 game, that's fine. He shouldn't be able to stone you in the follow-up games if you're doing your job as a forward.
Yeah, no, you're right. You got to get some depth scoring, some balance scoring as well. I mean, you had, McDavid Draisaitl, I know, played 29 minutes, and Hyman played 26 minutes, and it was that kind of game because you're trying to come back and tie it up as well. But, you in some ways, maybe the other lines are getting a little bit out of sync because they don't get the kind of minutes they're used to. But whoever it is, got to bury it. And it's, in the case of how well Shelov's played. I think Shesterkin's been a better goaltender, for example, consistently on the Rangers side, and Carolina, had the same issues, and they were able to at least win that last game. So we'll see what happens with them tonight. So there was a little bit more, to me, invincibility about, Shesterkin compared to Shelov's on the Vancouver side. And, to have your number 3 goaltender taking and running with it, I mean, that's kind of a bit of a Cinderella story. So I still, as much as I like it, as much as he came into prominence last year, what he did in Latvia in the World Tournament, I mean, they're, to me, when I say ripe for the taking, it's not meant disrespectfully, but there's been some posts and there's been some chances, and he's made great saves. He's had a little bit of luck, all those kinds of things. So I still view it as an opportunity for the Oilers.
Looking at some of the other series, Boston and Florida. I actually, the Sam Bennett little greasy sucker punch on Marchand, although I'm not even sure it's a sucker punch, really. That one, to me, I could see Boston having more of an issue with than the goal that they're all like, he touched Charlie Coyle, but he didn't bury him, right? Like, to me, just kind of push him, got good positioning, boom, buries into there. Like, I didn't really have an issue with the goal. Did you?
Well, no, and a lot of people. So, okay, if you want an interference call, for argument's sake, on Bennett on Coyle, you're going to get about 300 interference calls a game. So when they're looking at the video, and some people said, well, Coyle had a chance. It's not about Charlie Coyle having a chance. How much was the goaltender impeded or not by Bennett's actions? And you're also talking about, it's not a blank canvas. You're dealing with the call on the ice. There's a call on the ice, so you need adequate evidence to overturn it. So I'm like you. I was okay with it. And I know, Boston was hanging on for dear life at that point, and then you got the kind of the all-world highlight reel goal by Barkov 4 minutes later in that. But I was okay with the uphold of it. I like the fact they send out their judgment after and why. And good on the Bruins that they were able to kill the penalty that resulted in the unsuccessful challenge, but they weren't able to hold off Barkov 5 minutes later.
Yeah, well, Florida's just too deep of a team, especially take Marchand out of that lineup. I think they're in real trouble. Carolina's on the ropes again. They're taking on the New York Rangers. They're down 3-1 in the series. They've had a lot of quantity, not a lot of quality shots through the game. Now they've all been close, right? They're losing 1-goal games. Gord, if they lose again, and you're in Carolina and you're like, okay, we lost to Florida. You know what? We've got close. We haven't been to a cup with this team that's very good in the regular season. And, we're a shot volume team, but not necessarily a score volume team come playoff time. Do you think do they need an organizational change because whatever they're doing isn't working, or are they just unlucky?
Boy, I think a little bit of the latter. You've had Rod Brindamore, he was talking about it. I mean, you're talking 2 years in a row, they're on the verge of losing 4 straight in every game by 1 goal, basically. And, he kind of talked about when they were down 3-0, the game within the game, that he liked the way his team's playing. I really like the way my team's playing, but we do have to deal that we're down 3-0, now 3-1, of course. But again, Don Waddell, to me, has been really one of the real underrated general managers around the National Hockey League, the job he's done. We know it's an owner that's, very much on top of things. He's got his way of doing things. And, to Tom Dundon's credit, it's in a lot of ways, Carolina was the Buffalo Sabres, consecutive years not being in the playoffs, and they were able to get in the playoffs and very quickly have a degree of playoff success. But to your point, like you're saying, Jason, now that it's been whatever number of years, and those end up being the defining things, how you do in the playoffs. I mean, maybe Toronto a bit longer than anywhere else about finally acknowledging that it's just not acceptable to constantly go out that way. So there's a degree of that in in Carolina. I thought the trade deadline pickups were solid. You're getting your goaltending isn't poor, but the first 3 games, Shesterkin's making like a 1-goal difference each game. That's kind of what's happening in Vancouver, Edmonton. It's not like, Skinner's playing terrible, but say for argument's sake, you're kind of getting a 1-goal better difference on the goaltending side. Well, that's a big deal in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Gord Stellick joins us on Sports 1440. Yeah, Shesterkin's been unbelievable when called upon in that series. The Avs and the Dallas Stars, been a great series so far. Dallas has scored first in every game. They blew a 3-goal lead in the opening game. In this series, I thought they were better in game 3, but they were unable to score, and then Dallas scored late in the period to go in up 1-0 and eventually won that game. Do you see anything, or is this just, hey, somebody's got to be up 2-1 and just happens to be Dallas? I don't think they're dominating by any stretch, and I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado wins tonight. But I do look at Dallas, and, after that kind of first game collapse, they've really controlled much of this series.
Yeah, they really have, and they got like all three things, including goaltending, at a better place than Colorado. When you look at Ottinger, and it's not like goaltending's been fine for Colorado, but Dallas has had those great drafts. I mean, they had that draft years ago when they got Heiskanen, Ottinger, and Robertson, 2 first-round picks in the second. They took Wyatt Johnston a couple years later, late in the first round. Stankoven was late in the second round. Chris Tanev's just been a great fit on D as a trade deadline acquisition. So again, when I talk about general managers and what Jim Nill's done, then I was really kind of, when they eliminated the Vegas Golden Knights, I kind of compared them. I said, geez, that's what the Vegas Golden Knights were known for when they won a Stanley Cup, just being a real complete, deep team. And that seems to be what the Dallas Stars have evolved to. And, I would think more deeper than Colorado, because Colorado, when they started getting some big contracts and that, weren't able to keep the depth players like the Nazem Kadris of the world and what have you. But a great series. And Nathan McKinnon is a man possessed. And the Colorado Avalanche, you saw against Winnipeg, when they turned it on, it's like they found the switch again. So I'm really enjoying that series for sure.
You look at the, at this playoffs, and usually round 1 is the best, but round 2, I think, has been more entertaining for sure. Coming back full circle now to the Edmonton Vancouver series, if you're the Canucks, it's kind of, hey, don't change anything, right? They're finding ways to score on limited shots. They're limiting Edmonton 5-on-5. They're actually outscoring them 7-5, 5-on-5. And now their penalty kill has struggled, but it did come up huge in the third period when they killed off 2 power plays. To keep that game close, to keep the lead. Like, if you're Vancouver, do you think this is a recipe for success, or the fact that, Edmonton's out shooting them lots and out chancing that, that's not a way you're going to win a series at the end of it?
Well, you always say that, but then there's an element of a charmed existence. I think that happens, or catching lightning in a bottle. I mean, look at some of the couple of wins they had against Nashville. Just some very unusual wins. So we'll find out. I'm of two minds about that, Jason. Like, okay, the clock strikes 12, and it's you can't keep winning games in that manner, or maybe you can. So obviously the next game important that way. See how it all comes about. It's Edmonton, that power play has been out of control, great, but this round Vancouver's matched it. So, and also, and then to your point, Edmonton's got to get better numbers 5-on-5. How much is it the goaltender being outstanding or being fortuitous? We'll see. Each playoff series, kind of has a storyline how it plays out. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, it should be good. Gord, appreciate your time, man. Enjoy the playoffs.
Will do. Take care.
There's Gord Stellick from Sirius XM. We got Cam Tate coming up, and you will hear from Stuart Skinner. Any changes he would like to make in his game? Find out next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Coming to you live in the E-Well studio, ewel.ca.
Mr. Rooter visits the dentist. Well, you're all done there, Mr. Rooter. You can spit in the sink.
Hey, Doc, you got a clog here.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it. I got it. It looks like a long piece of floss with something tied to the end. Why don't you check it out?
Oh, why? It's a birthday card.
You didn't think I'd forget you, did you?
Mr. Rooter, you're the kindest, weirdest man.
To have the plumbing cavity in your heart filled, trust only one man, Mr. Rooter.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area.
Thanks
Homeowner
there,
or
Jason.
Large company. They'll work with
Thanks
you to
there,
help see your
Jason.
ideas through.
Leadership.
BIE
It comes in
Engineering
many
can help
shapes,
prevent
sizes, and
problems, deliver
colors.
solutions,
Sometimes
and
we
minimize your
see
risk.
or again hear it
BIE
in
Engineering.
unexpected ways
Request
and
a
in the
quote
most
for your project
unexpected
today.
locations.
Visit
12:16. That was the time displayed on the red LED clock in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room. 2.5 hours ago now. The Oilers didn't practice today, having a night to sleep. Oregon not after losing 4-3 in Game 2 to the Vancouver Canucks.
What's cracking at
The dressing room was
Their
empty,
men's league.
except for
Play 18 holes
goaltender
for
Stu
18
Skinner,
weeks on
standing in
Tuesdays
his
from 2 to
stall.
6 p.m. Then complete the
Reporters
day and head
ran,
to Out
as
of
did
Bounds.
TV
With
camera
your right
operators
club
lugging
Canada's
pounds of
top 10
equipment on their
fine dining
shoulders
restaurants.
towards the
For
Oilers.
details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
Before he answered any
Sports
questions,
1440
trunk
has
back
added
to its
another
home.
player to our lineup tonight from 6 to 9. Check out Turn Sports with
He
your
didn't
host,
have to
Nathan
do it.
Romero.
He saved
Edmonton's
at Rogers
exclusive
Place.
home
I
of
think it will
sports
be
talk is now rolling 24
Sports
hours a day,
1440.
7
Jason
days
Gregor
a
Show.
week. You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in one day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Vision Credit Union is proud to serve rural Albertan entrepreneurs, business owners like Brent and Leanne Gome, who've owned the Kill and Feed and Farm Supply for almost 20 years. The company offers grain processing, feed, livestock, calving, and vet supplies, and more. Recently, they've even added a self-picking bale truck and delivery to their services. Now that's a lot of getting down to business. Looking for financial services to help your company get down to business? Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Monday afternoon. How are you? Text line is hot. 833-401-1440. And our EWEL text line, 833-401-1440. Also, do you want to go have a laugh? Maybe right now, more than ever, you need a laugh. Jim Jeffries, Jimmy Carr. Got another pair of tickets to give away, courtesy of Outback Presents. It's coming up in September, so you got a lot of time. But we'll give some of those away in the 4 o'clock hour today. Let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Hold the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. And Cam Tate, of course, a longtime journalist in our city. Cam has cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair, and regularly is unable to speak clear enough to be on the radio, but has always wanted to be. And so now, through the wonders of technology, his words become audio. Here's the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate.
Thanks there, Jason. Leadership. It comes in many shapes, sizes, and colors. Sometimes we see or again hear it in unexpected ways and in the most unexpected location. 12:16. That was the time displayed on the red LED clock in the Edmonton Oilers dressing room. 2.5 hours ago now. The Oilers didn't practice today, having a night to sleep. Oregon not after losing 4-3 in Game 2 to the Vancouver Canucks. The dressing room was empty, except for goaltender Stu Skinner, standing in his stall. Reporters ran, as did TV camera operators lugging pounds of equipment on their shoulders towards the Oilers netminder, who was unavailable for media interviews Sunday night. Before he answered any questions, Skinner apologized for being a no-show to the media. Just a very sincere apology, no excuses here, man. And by doing so, Skinner, by himself, gently led the white elephant in the room, by its trunk, back to its home. And here's what makes his comments so remarkable. He didn't have to do it. He saved reporters from asking what could be an uncomfortable question. Why wasn't he available? Which could have turned into a bigger storyline rather than the obvious storyline. The Oilers down 2-1 to the Canucks with, dare we say, pivotal Game 4 Tuesday at Rogers Place. Skinner is taking a lot of heat for the loss. His coach, Chris Knobloch, told the media Sunday night he needs more saves from his goaltenders. He then said Monday he hasn't decided who will start in goal in Game 4. I think it will be Stu Skinner. No apology needed. 2-minute warning, Cam Tate. Monday, Friday, Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Yeah, Stuart Skinner, you know what? Hey, admit it. Hey, you know what? And Stuart Skinner has been very accessible all season long, more accessible than most goalies ever. So, you know what? Last night, that's why I didn't get my shorts in a knot too much about it. He's frustrated, didn't want to speak right after. You know what? If a guy did it regularly, he'd have a problem with it. Doing it once, I'm all right. We talked about it today, moves on. And I get why some guys are upset about it too. I see both sides. But you know what? You look at Stuart Skinner, and I'm very interested on what decision they're going to make in goal between Skinner and Mr. Pickard. What will they do? So here is Stuart Skinner. And we spoke to Skinner earlier today about a variety of different things. He just started his press conference by apologizing about last night.
I'd like to apologize to all you guys for not being available last night. So hope you guys could all forgive me.
How are you dealing with all of this? It's obviously a lot of pressure to play all the time.
Yeah, again, just last night, I think just the emotions kind of caught up with me, and it was tough mentally. Definitely last night. Obviously, you never want to get pulled into a game. I feel like you let down the team, so I got some work to do here to get back at it and learn from the mistakes that I've been making.
How much of it is mental for you, Stu, and how much of it is physical mistakes in the game?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful question. I think, as most people say, it's, especially as a goaltender, I think it's at least 90%, maybe more mental. And I've been working on that game, obviously, for a long time. I think physically there's little adjustments that I can make, but to be super honest, I don't think it's anything technical. I think it's just me being able to find saves at key times, and I haven't been able to do that.
Have you talked to Chris? Do you know if are you starting tomorrow? Like, how does that conversation go?
I have no idea. We're going to see it on the board tomorrow.
You have the only position on the team where you get compared to the guy at the other end of the ice, like it or not, right?
Yep.
What effect does that have when you see, maybe you're having a struggle or whatever, and you see the guy at the other end solving 42? Does that impact you at all?
It shouldn't. Last night, I thought he played an amazing game. I think he's been really solid for those guys. Especially with the lack of experience in at the NHL level, it's quite very impressive to see him doing this. And yeah, he's got great size. He can move really well. He's a great goalie. Can't take too much away from that. And then for myself, that's that's just based on myself. My focus is me and my game. And, you know, I played a lot of good goalies in this league that have stolen games, and a lot of good goalies in this league that I've been able to beat. So I'm not too worried about the other guy at the other end. My job is to keep the puck out of the net wherever I'm in.
I mean, overall in the playoffs, the numbers are what they are. And when you focus in on a single game and you go goal to goal, you can kind of, you know, was it his fault or was it not? There's the big picture, and then there's sort of the moment. How do you kind of process your playoff numbers versus, you know, looking at it goal to goal and finding the immediate fault?
Yeah. I think I've been looking at kind of just goal to goal, to be honest, for a majority of the playoffs. I think I've been doing that majority of the season too. Like, you know, you don't want to look too far into the big picture, but yeah, like the numbers don't lie. You know, they're saying what they say. Well, they lie a little bit, but I think that, you know, it is what it is. It shows you kind of what's been happening as a result base. Do I feel like I'm playing at those numbers? A little bit. Has some good goals gone in? Yeah. Has some bad goals gone in? Yes. So either way, I got to stick with it and just keep going.
It's the fact that, you know, you're not getting a lot of volume. I don't know if you're a volume guy. Is it, you like just, you know, feeling shots more, and they get like 24, 19, 15. There's not a lot of shots. How does that impact you?
Yeah, I think it sometimes, especially like our team's been doing such a good job just rolling in the offensive zone. So, you know, we've been like that for a long time. You know, the last 2 years that I've been able to play here, it's been very similar to that. Do I like getting more volume? Sometimes, yeah. I think it definitely is a tough part of the work that we're in, is when you get, you know, 10, 12 shots and not a lot of just like looks where you just feel the puck, just more, you know, it's playoffs, it's a grind. Guys are in front, it's hard to see the puck. There's a couple grade A chances. I mean, that's just playoff hockey. So it is difficult, but I've been doing that, and I've been able to play really well in games like that for a long time. So no excuses on that end.
Based on the numbers, how close do you feel like you are to ideal?
It's as close as 1%. I think I could be, you know, it's just very minimal, small little thing that I can do. And we could be talking here, laughing about how great I am. It's just not the case. You know, so I got to be able to find that 1%. I got to find that little bit more, that one more save. And then I believe that if I do that, I can kind of just get into the flow of things, and everything will, I'll just be able to start playing better.
Well, there you go. Stuart Skinner doesn't feel that it's all gone and will never return. Just said, hey, I got to play better. If I do some things, I'll play better. We'll see. So that's the question. Who do you think the coach is starting in game 4? Skinner or Pickard? Connor Halley? Who is starting in game 4? Do you think? Not, first of all, who do you think the team will start? And then who would you start?
Okay, well, I think it's going to be Stuart Skinner. I remember we kind of had this discussion last year when Skinner was pulled. Jack Campbell went in, played good, and they still went back to Stuart Skinner. So I think they're going to continue that. Different coaches, I know. Same goalie coach, though. So I'm going to say Stuart Skinner gets the opportunity to bounce back. Short leash, but gets the opportunity.
Interesting.
I'm unsure about it. I don't know if I love it all the way, but I think that's the way I'm going to lean this time. What do you think?
So you think he deserves it, and you think they're going to give him it?
I think they're going to give him it. Do I think he deserves it? That one I'm not quite as sold on. That I'm a little bit iffy. Because, like you said, we've talked about it for a long time. We don't need to see amazing goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers, but it's got to be good. It's got to be above average. It can't be below 900. And Stuart Skinner really hasn't given that to you. So I think there is some hesitation, but I want to give him the opportunity to bounce back, I guess.
Yeah, I understand that. I do think they're going to look and say, okay, let in a bad goal in game 1, let in a bad goal in game 2. Didn't necessarily let in a bad goal in game 3, didn't make us a key save. That's how they're going to view it. I'm really torn. I can see the argument on both ways. I think they might actually go to Pickard. just to give Skinner some rest. Because there's like Knobloch mentioned, hey, Stuart Skinner's going to be back whether it's game 4 or 5. So I think they might go to Pickard regardless of what happens in the game and then go to Skinner in game 5. So even if the Oilers win game 4, because I don't even think they need above average goaltending. I think they just need average goaltending. They're not giving up much. Just you get average goaltending, you know what, make 1 or 2 good stops, because that's the thing. Skinner actually made some big stops in the opening game. Had a breakaway stop right away, made some key saves later. Obviously, the 5th goal he doesn't like. I get it. The Zadorov goal, now it didn't hurt them, but it forced them to overtime. So on the other side, I can see them saying, you know what, Stewart's our guy. We're going to give it back to him. So, the fact that Skinner didn't speak to the media suggests to me that he is maybe a little bit more fired up than normal. And I wonder, they know him way better than I do. Then maybe they say, hey, a little bit of rest. Because when I talked to Stewart about the playoffs last year, he said physically he was never fatigued. Mentally, it was tiresome. And so I know that Stuart Skinner just said in that interview, he'll find out tomorrow that that's bogus. They will know before they leave the arena today, the goalies know who is starting tomorrow. And if it isn't Skinner, then he can go home and relax, right? Doesn't have to I know you do all the preparation in case of the game, but it's not the same, right? So it's a little bit different. And maybe that break is what they think might help him. So we'll see. I'm curious what listeners think as far as who they'll go and goal. Guys, I love how honest and clear Skinner is, but it hasn't led to results yet. Hopefully soon from the farm team.
Gregor, 1 game.
You got 1 game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. So that's like, that's obvious. I don't think anybody out there thought it would be any different. So there we go. No surprise at all. So there you have it. Let's get to the comment on the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Alberta GMC dealers. You can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks right now at your Alberta GMC dealers.
The Sports 1440 update.
The news just coming down. The Vancouver Canucks defenseman Carson Soucy has been suspended 1 game for the cross-check on Connor McDavid in last night's game. Also coming down from that, Canucks defenseman Nikita Zadorov receiving a $5,000 fine for his cross-check, the maximum allowable under the CBA. On the ice tonight, we've got 2 games on the schedule. Hurricanes up against the Rangers. Puck drop just after 5 o'clock. Rangers with a chance to wrap that one up. Then at 7:30, the Colorado Avalanche try to even their series up with the Stars at 2 games apiece in Denver. Puck drop 7:35, give or take. In the association, we've got 2 games. The Boston Celtics are in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. That gets going just after 5. Boston up 2-1 in that one. Then at 7:30, the Mavericks hosting the Thunder. Dallas leading 2-1 there. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays kicking off the series in Baltimore at 4:35. Jose Barrios getting the start for the Jays. Elsewhere, you have the Marlins in Detroit. Mets host the Phillies. Cubbies travel to Atlanta. Rangers host the Guardians. Athletics in Houston. Padres up against the Rockies. The Mariners take on the Royals and the Dodgers in San Francisco. PWHL action tonight. Toronto can wrap up their series with Minnesota at the XL Energy Center. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock. Toronto leads that series 2-0. In the NFL, the Detroit Lions are signing quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension. That includes $170 million guaranteed. The 29-year-old is coming off a season where he threw 30 touchdowns, 4,575 passing yards, and completed a career-high 67.3% of his passes. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and defensive back Antoine Winfield agreeing on a new contract extension, 4 years, $84 million. The deal makes Winfield the highest-paid defensive back in NFL history. First time in the modern NFL that a safety has set that mark. According to reports, Jesse Marsh will take over the head coaching position for the Canadian men's national soccer team. He's expected to lead Canada for his pre-June Copa America games in the Netherlands and France. And NASCAR will introduce a 5-race in the season tournament with a $1 million prize in 2025. Under the format, the top 32 drivers will be placed in an NCAA-style bracket in which head-to-head results of each matchup will determine who advances to the next round in the following race. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk Stars and Avalanche with Daryl Ray of Valley Sports Southwest, and we'll discuss the Oilers and Canucks. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. Heavy hauling in the worst of climates can be dreadful. Take the stress off the job with AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. They redefine heavy hauling with premium heavy haul trailers designed, manufactured, and battle tested in the harshest of conditions. And if your heavy haul trailer has issues, their full service and frame inspections will tell you exactly what's wrong and why. They take the guessing out of repair work with quality engineered frame repairs that get you back working quick. Discover the difference at accusteel.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Debt. Most of us have it, but it's the last thing we want to talk about. When we're struggling, we need someone to talk to. We want to be heard without judgment. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day. I can help you find the solution to fit your situation. Talking about it is the first step to relief. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Logs crackle as you toast a marshmallow to perfection. Light dances off your lustrous new Toyota. Nearby, a cricket chirps. Or a mosquito. Anyways, one thing's for sure, this moment isn't just a dream, it's an invitation to escape. So stop dreaming. Red Tag Days are on a Toyota. For a limited time, lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 36 months at 5.49% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
It's after 3 o'clock. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. And use the promo code Gregor50 if you're waiting. You want to try it, whether or not you've made a wager before or in the past. Use the promo code Gregor50, Gregor50, and you'll get a $50 wager. You need a $5 deposit. Check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Now, the Oilers, of course, will be facing off Vancouver. If you missed it, no Carson Soucy. He has been suspended, as we all expected, one game. I didn't think it would be more. I thought it'd be one. He gets one, and he will now sit out tomorrow night. Noah Juleson will come in. And it's interesting, in the last series, when Tyler Myers missed a game, Juleson just played with Soucy. But Soucy and Meyer had been playing a lot against their top line in Nashville, just like they have been against Edmonton. But in that game, they didn't. So, Connor McDavid tomorrow night. Will they just put Juleson with Myers for one game, keep their other pairs together, or they put Zadorov with Meyer and say, okay, you two are going to face off against McDavid? Because no offense to Ryan O'Reilly, he's not as scary offensively as Connor McDavid. So could have some interesting line matchups, line decisions going on in this game tomorrow night. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership in the country. And they have a 13-time award winner in excellence for sales and service. It's VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Of course, the Oilers did not skate today. They just had a players meeting. It was very brief. Went over a few things in video, yada, yada, yada. Not trying to be Elaine Bennis, but you know what? I think the Oilers will look and say, okay, let's try to eliminate, have better puck management in our own zone. All right, let's not get running around, because 3 of the Vancouver goals came from Oilers making mistakes. Now, here's the thing. Edmonton got some looks where Vancouver made mistakes. The difference was Edmonton didn't make them pay. Seelovs made some key saves, but Edmonton got stopped. They did not score a goal 5-on-5 against a goalie who has a .906 career save percentage in the American League. A goalie that they had scored 8 goals on 49 shots in the first 2 games. I've been seeing some people suggest, Seelovs is just being stoned in the Oilers. He did one game. He didn't stone him in game 1 and 2. Right? They scored 8 goals. That's your definition of stoning. All right. Did anyone say Skinner stoned Vancouver in the first 2 games? No. He also allowed 8 goals. So the Oilers, hey, give Seelovs credit, man. He won game 3 first team, no question. Does he have a little confidence? We'll see. Did the Oilers get close to scoring? Corey Perry looked like that was right on the goal line, or inconclusive on the review. Vinny Desharnais got one through, didn't get it through enough. Draisaitl beat him, hit the goalpost. Vander Kane beat him, hit the goalpost. Connor Brown beat him, hit the goalpost. Looked like, you know what, if you put it inside the post an inch and that goal's in, but guess what? It didn't go in. Goalies will tell you, hey, that's all I gave him. So he could be right. But I'm not ready to buy into this notion and narrative that's being pushed about how great Seelovs has been in the series. If you want to say he was great in game 3, that's accurate. Great in the series? I am not buying that in any form. Sorry, I'm just not. I don't see how anyone can say that he was great in the entire series. Right? Like, look at the first 2 games. He had 49 shots, allowed 8 goals. Not very good. What is that? Like an 840 save percentage? Somewhere around there, give or take. So, not ideal. Maybe even lower than that. Maybe like 820 save percentage in the first 2 games. He was excellent yesterday. So now the Edmonton Oilers, you got scouts, you got video. They're going to look over, hey, where are some areas to shoot? And then the one thing they can do that's within their control is get more traffic and get more guys around the net hunting for pucks. second, third opportunities? How many second and third opportunities did the Oilers have last night? I remember the sequence at the end of the second period. Right? They stopped Nurse right in front, then the rebound was either McDavid or Draisaitl, can't remember who. So there was one, but there wasn't a lot of other ones. And I think that's an element of their game that they can definitely improve on. So, for sure. I look at, the game's all about matchups. And Vancouver special teams yesterday, I would argue, won the matchup because in the third period, Edmonton had 2 power plays, didn't score another one. Vancouver had 2 power play goals in the game. I know so did Edmonton, but if you look at timing of it, the special teams of Vancouver in the third period was massive. Probably the difference in why he didn't go to overtime. So, hey guys, no big surprise. McDavid has free reign to use his stick however he wishes. A clear high stick on Hughes. One-handed slash after game 3. Another sign of NHL favoritism from Wes Van. Oh my goodness. Like, are Canucks fans like Wes Van? Are you being serious right now? Did the refs miss McDavid? 100%. Everybody in Edmonton agreed. He missed it. It's not a suspension. They missed it. As for his slash on Carson Soucy, like, are you delusional? He slashed him in the pants. Okay? At best, that's coincidental minors because Soucy slashed him right back. Okay? Slash, you get one, we get one, they get minor penalties. In the course of the game, that's all that would happen. If that happened, if there was time going in the game, Soucy would have got a 5-minute major after the slash and McDavid slash because they both slashed each other. It's kind of like love tap slashes. But like Canuck fans, I get being like, you don't have to have blind stupidity to be a fan. I've never bought into that. There's lots of highly educated fans. They just, no, it's my team, so I'm just going to say anything. Doesn't make it look good. Not at all. Hey, boys, haven't heard anybody with the Seinfeld reference. Another game for Seeloffs. Oh, not bad. Not bad fingers. But Vancouver could probably use that. I don't think Edmonton fans would be using it, but I could see how guys in Vancouver would do it. Probably be funny. But it would be the first one. Now, if he does it again, then it would work perfectly. But I like any Seinfeld reference, so I'm here for it all day long. Hey, guys, do you think the Order players watch the other playoff games or just focus on their own? Some guys do watch it. But again, there's only so much change you're going to have in a player. Everybody has tendencies in life. I'm sure you have tendencies to what you listen to, what you eat, what you watch. And it's not all of a sudden like, oh, I'm suddenly going to switch. Right? We can talk till we're blue in the face on Ryan McLeod. He's not going to hit people. So you can keep repeating and getting frustrated. I get it. Or you can say, well, hey, Ryan McLeod isn't physical. What parts of his game are good? Well, he's been very good defensively. He's good on the penalty kill, right? He's good at transporting the puck. Those are all true. He's not physical. He's never been physical. He was never drafted to be physical. Why do you expect him to be physical? He's not going to be. So to me, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment when you keep asking for Ryan McLeod to be physical. Not every player is physical. Okay? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins isn't physical. Ryan McLeod isn't physical. Would you like him to be, if you want to say, I wish he was more physical, okay. We would agree, and then we move on. There's nothing else to say. To me, it's better to look and say, hey, Ryan McLeod, with your speed, try going to the net rather than either button hooking or circling behind the net. I think that is something that he can control, because I've actually seen him take it to the net sometimes. I've seen it. He just doesn't do it enough. And to me, part of that's got to be coaching. Say, hey, man, like, explain to me why you're not going to the net here. Just explain to me. What's going through your mind? What are you seeing? Maybe he has an answer that I don't know. Maybe he's seeing something completely different. But I do think that there is, it's fair to ask for that. If you're going to get all up in arms about him being physical, like, why? He's never going to be physical. Now, that can upset you, but not every player in the history of the NHL, even when the games are physical, ends up being physical. They just don't. That is, that's not how it's going to be with him. Hey, Gregor, what's the best way for the Oilers to take advantage of Vancouver's defense without Soucy? It's a good question, Mike. Like I said, I think a lot of it depends on how Vancouver deploys things in Game 4. Because the last time they missed, because the Myers and Soucy pairing has faced off against Nashville's number one line, and now they're doing McDavid. That's what they've done in 2 series. But in the game where Tyler Myers was injured against Nashville, Soucy played with Jolson. They only played 3 minutes against the top line in Nashville that night. So will we see a similar thing here where Rick Tocchet says it's one game, I don't want to disrupt my other defense pairings, but McDavid's a different beast than Ryan O'Reilly. So what you did in that series, I think it's fair to question and say, maybe we're going to put Zadorov and Meyer, righty-lefty, and we'll play Jolson with Cole. And I'll say this. If they opt for that, I am definitely splitting up McDavid and Draisaitl. Because you can't get it 100% of the time. So that means you get McDavid or Draisaitl out against a Jolson or Cole pair sometimes. Because you have last change. Vancouver doesn't. Doesn't mean every shift you're going to get the matchup you want. But even if it's 5, 6, 7 shifts between the two of them, I think that could be a big advantage. I would take that matchup. It doesn't mean you're going to score, but maybe it can be a momentum builder. So that's how I would look at it heading into it. I do think for one game, this is a break. And now Edmonton, you have to take advantage of it. Right? Last year, now I know Nurse got suspended, but last year when Pietrangelo got suspended, the Oilers didn't take advantage of it. Can't have that repeat themselves in this series against the Canucks. Soucy is not Pietrangelo. I totally get it. But this is something where I look at and say, hey, the Oilers, you got to take advantage of it. 3:17. When we return, we will hear from Daryl Ray, former Edmonton Oiler, ace analyst, netminder. We'll talk a little goaltending and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks. On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave 118th. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440. Every weekend, catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays, this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for all things sports.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Hi, Brad McCory here. It's May, and that means it's time for our biggest sale of the year. We're practically giving away. Take our 2023 Ram 1500 Classic that was $59,000. Now, just $44,000. Yes, we're giving with savings up to $15,000 and an available 0% financing for 60 months on our new 2024 Ram 1500 Sports. We really are giving away. Hey, why do you keep bleeping me? I was just saying we were giving trucks away during our biggest sale of the year. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hey, Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit edmontonkubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
Whoa, I earned that much Canadian Tire money on top of those sweet discounts. Did they make a mistake?
Value so stacked, you'll wonder if it's a mistake. The Triangle Max Stack event, now till May 16th at Canadian Tire, Sport Check, and Mark. Conditions apply. Discounts available to all shoppers.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Oh, good theme song. How many of you are loving Who Shot JR? Oh, man. Classic evening soap opera show, Dallas. I love it. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Orders Nation YouTube and Facebook. Man, the text line, you guys are fired up today. I love it. In our email inbox, 833-401-1440. That is 833-401-1440. We'll talk some goaltending and a series that, hey, if the Oilers win, you probably should be paying attention because they'll be playing the winner of this series as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution for a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition for both boys and girls. Visit hockeysuperleague.ca or femalesuperleague.com. As we are joined by former NHL netminder, ace analyst for the Dallas Stars, Daryl Ray, joins us. And Daryl, before we get to your series, just want to ask you as a goalie, and you've studied a lot of goalies. We've seen guys kind of go up and down. Jake Ottinger had, I think for much of the season, some struggles for him, and then he's found his game and has really come on in the postseason for Dallas. Stuart Skinner had a pretty good regular season, and man, right now in the postseason, it's been a tough slog for him. He talked about it. Hey, it's 90% mental. When you go, what would be the one or two things that Skinner needs to focus on if he gets back in the game tomorrow night?
Oh God. Just moment to moment. I think I'm talking with Ottinger a little bit during the year when he was going through some stretches or spells where, he knew he should be mildly better than what he was. And he talked about the fact that he was concerning himself with what might happen, like a play ahead, and not concerning himself with the number one job, which is just, if a guy's got the puck and he's in a shooting area and a scoring area, just worry about him first. Yeah. Don't worry about where the rebound's going to go or whether he's going to pass to your flank or something like that. So it's just stay in the moment. And I would think, especially this time of year for these guys, when everything is amplified, and every goal they give up is like an echo chamber. I think it's the biggest struggle that they have. I think modern goaltenders are so much better at resetting themselves though than maybe they were before, and yet they still get into these little ruts where I think what has just happened affects what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's obviously a big problem.
For sure. And so, so if you were in charge in Edmonton, you had a goalie like Skinner struggling, do you go back to him in game 4 or do you go to Pickard?
Yeah, I can remember times even here in Dallas, like through the years when, if you go back to Marty Turco, like I remember having that same question asked of me, informally, not like I'm going to make any decisions, but just what my opinion was, whether they should switch to, I think at the time it was like Johan Hedberg, who was backing up. And I always felt like you go with your guy. I think it's different now though. I really do. I believe you can buy a little time. And Pickard's played well. He played great against the Stars when the two teams met. And it does two things, right? It gives a different look at the other side. It allows the other guy to mentally reset himself and take a breath. But it feels a little bit panicky when it happens. But at the same time, you're just trying to win one game always, right? It's one game over and over again. And if you think that that's going to give your guys maybe a little more confidence in what's going on right now, then it's probably the right decision.
Yeah, it will be a fascinating angle. I was just curious, being a former goalie, what your thoughts are. Obviously, you can understand.
Should be like you should be like Vancouver, where you just don't have any options. you just everyone's hurt. You just have to go to the other guy.
Yeah, it's true. It's a fair point. Hey, takes the decision making out of my hand. No one can second guess it at all. Now it's like, look, you're a genius for putting that number 3 guy in. Daryl Ray joins us. Daryl, the Stars, hey, they've started unreal in this series. They've scored first in every game. Obviously they didn't love the collapse in game 1, but they've won game 2. Really, game 3 was probably more of the Stars. I thought, Colorado did come out well in game 3, but they got some saves from Ottinger. Then they scored that key goal late in the first. And really, I didn't think they were ever not in control in that game. Like, that looked like the Stars I've seen all year long. What have you made of this series? And obviously, I think you're expecting a pretty good effort tonight from Dallas. What do you think? From Colorado. What do you think Dallas has done outside of the first game in periods 2 and 3 to really kind of control most of the flow of this series?
Well, this series boils down to that little pack, not so little, but 4 or 5 guys that can do you in. I mean, they rely so heavily on that group of McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, Nichushkin. I guess you could throw Lehkonen in there too. They're going to get Drouin back tonight, it looks like. So they have this small pack against really a herd of Dallas Stars, and because they have to be the deepest team, in my estimation, in the playoffs right now. They roll 4 lines. They play with a lot of pace and energy because of that. Their 5D that they've rotated with, Nils Lundqvist hasn't played but 3 or 4 shifts a game. But the way those 5 guys have played has been phenomenal in both series. So they're trying to get those small group, or that small group of really their engine, to outplay the overall team aspect of the Stars. And that's hard to do. Like, you start getting down, pick whichever line you want with the Stars. Like, if you want the Hintz line, you want the Duchesne line, you want the Wyatt Johnston line, which one is the number 1 and which one is the number 3? And then you flip it around on their side, and their top 6 is really good. But then you start really dropping off after that up front as far as forwards are concerned. And, they need their power play to score. They need those guys to impact the game. And if they don't, they're in a lot of trouble against a really good, talented team like the Stars. So if you look at game 1, I think the previous series affected both teams. Like, they were really rusty early on, the Avalanche. The Stars ran out of gas from their emotional 7-game series against Vegas. We saw that. Game 2, it was a little bit self-inflicted by the Avalanche. Like, they took some bad penalties, some really poor play from their big guys. Stars kind of drilled them pretty good. And then they come in here, and it's the showdown of the best home team against the best road team in the regular season. And, to give them 3 power plays immediately it seemed like it was suicidal for the Stars game, but they got through it. That's how they've done it on the road all year, where their special teams and really, really good goaltending wins a lot of games for them on the road. And that was instrumental in that. They got through the 3 power plays. You could see the frustration set in on all those guys I just mentioned. Like, when it doesn't happen for them on the power play, then they start to get a little individualistic, and they couldn't get anything going. And the Stars locked down that third period as good as any team can lock down 1-goal lead. It was like a clinic. So that moves us to the opportunity for the Stars with a repeat of that to put the Avalanche on the brink. It's going to be tough. I mean, they are going to be hyper motivated. They've had guys that have been really quiet or silent offensively the last couple of games. So this one might boil down to, can Jake Ottinger steal the game, and can they take a 3-1 lead heading back to Dallas? Because I think they're coming with the house tonight.
Oh God, I would. Yeah, like the first 10 minutes, it's the obvious thing, right, Daryl? If you can handle the even though it's coming, everyone's like, why can't you match it? Because you can't manufacture that desperation emotion as a player, can you? Like, you can try, but you just can't.
No, and you always hear the debate between urgency and desperation, and I don't think they're desperate yet, but they're going to be urgent. And when they play with the kind of pace they do, and if they play together, and I don't think they played their full team game together, like connected the last couple of games. There's spurts in that, but trying to figure things out of where's Val going to play, and they've had chances they've messed up too and hit pipes and missed the net and things like that. But that's the nature of 2 fairly evenly matched teams, different ways of doing it, but fairly evenly matched, and that makes this a pretty dreamy game 4 here tonight. And the other part of it too, the Stars' ability to play 4 lines, and especially, they've led. Like, the Avalanche haven't led in the series, like, not one iota. And even with a win, I mean, they won it in overtime. And for the Stars to be ahead, and I know they blew a couple large leads, but it allows them to just roll and roll and roll. And I think it affords them the ability to overcome some of the altitude issues, because usually you come into Denver, you take a bunch of penalties early. I mean, it's likely going to be game over for you. You're going to be trailing and chasing and shorten your bench and all those things that coaches do. And that didn't happen here the other night on Saturday. And we'll see whether they can follow through with another one of those tonight.
Daryl Ray joins us, analyst for the Dallas Stars. You mentioned the Stars' depth, and there's no question they got a lot of depth. What's the latest on Hakanpää? And because they're basically playing 5 defensemen.
Yeah. You thought at some point, especially in a 7-game series, like a big boy heavy series like the one against the defending Cup champs, that it was going to catch up to them. But Chris Tanev has kind of made sure that nothing catches up to them. He's been a remarkable addition, like just a perfect glove fit for what they've needed. Right shot, eats up minutes, terrific defender, can move the puck, and probably he moves the puck better than Yanni. So it gives them a different dynamic with their second pair. Look, they would love to have the big guy back. He's an excellent penalty killer. He's the Stars' most physical player, but he has not been skating with the team. He doesn't look like he's an option anytime soon. But the playoffs, a guy goes from not being available to playing 25 minutes in a heartbeat. But they're going to have to, it looks as though they're going to have to get through this series the way they got through the opening round, with 5 guys eating it all up and a ton of Miro Heiskanen, who's been great.
Oh God, he's been unbelievable in this series, man. Like, he is such a good defenseman. His skating prowess. Like, I know Cale Makar gets a boatload of a notoriety, as he should. I just, because he doesn't put up the same eye-popping offensive numbers, I think some people really underrate Heiskanen. But, man, I think he is an elite defender at both ends.
I would concur. I think a lot of people underestimate his overall game. And yeah, I mean, it's Makar's the shiny penny, right? Like he just sticks out with, he's a blast to watch play. And I would think in this series, the two of them are, they're playing against each other's teams, but they're playing against each other. They went 3-4 in the 2017 draft. And there've been all these accolades for Makar, and Miro Heiskanen is looking a lot like the Miro Heiskanen from the bubble when he was the lead for he and John Klingberg were outstanding and the lead for the Stars attack. And I think he's leading our team in scoring right now heading into game 4. And that hasn't been all power play driven, but he's been good on the power play. He's eating up just acres of ice every game. And again, it's like without that third righty D man, it's Miro and it's Chris Tanev rotating in with Ryan Suter on that third pair. So the two of them have been, the heartbeat of the Stars D-core, and Miro in particular, just because he plays in every situation except for killing penalties. He doesn't kill penalties this year, and I think it saves some of his energy for those heavy, even strength minutes and execution on the power play.
Yeah, no, he's been great. If there is a matchup that do you think Denver will try to chase tonight? Is there one that you see, okay, this is an advantage they're going to try to exploit?
I don't know. I mean, they would probably like to try there's no real weakness, but maybe try the McKinnon line as much as they can against Ben and Wyatt Johnston and Joe Pavelski, maybe just from a foot speed standpoint. But Wyatt's been so good. Like Johnston played the most of any of the Stars forwards last game. Didn't have a point, but I think he did a lot of. He faced them a lot, and he's going to have to deal with a 20-year-old that's trying to handle, a guy who's up for MVP of the league. But I think they understand on their side too that they're going to need more than just Nate McKinnon blowing through everyone for their offense. As great as he is, and he was the best player in the NHL on home ice this season. But the true secret of superstardom is always the rest of the group, and the rest of their group outside of game number 1 haven't really had much to do with what's gone on. So yeah, they rely heavily on McKinnon and their top guys, but they're going to need more than just them, I would think, to get through a Stars team that just rolls. They're confident in their game. They put their road game out there and say, here you go beat this. And it's been difficult for teams on their home ice to be able to overcome it. And the times they have, it's been power play influenced. And they had that the other night. That was set up perfectly for the Avalanche with all their power play opportunities early, and they couldn't get it done. So you wonder how this is going to go tonight. But it's not a very matchy series. Those guys he's going to play those guys. He's like a stagecoach driver who's got a team of horses he's going to run into the ground, and they're going to play a lot. And whether they can get something done or enough done to win a hockey game is the major question.
Daryl, enjoy the rest of this series. It should be a barn burner. We appreciate your time.
You bet. Always my pleasure. CJ.
You betcha. There's Daryl Ray, a longtime analyst for the Dallas Stars. That's a heck of a series. If you're looking for something to do on your off night, highly recommend it. Maybe go to playalberta.ca, use the promo code Gregor50. You think Nathan McKinnon could go off tonight? You get a $50 free play when you use the promo code Gregor50 with a $5 minimum deposit. 340. We got lots and lots of text to get to. We'll get to all of those. The Oilers, if you missed it, Carson Soucy has been suspended 1 game. He will not play tomorrow night for the Vancouver Canucks. So Noah Juleson will come in on the blue line. How will that impact their D pairs? How will that impact the Oilers forward lines? Who are the Oilers going to start in goal tomorrow night? There's lots of questions. We're going to see Sam Carrick. Is Adam Henrique ready? I don't know. But we'll discuss it all next on The Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca.
Possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
I'm wondering if the men and women of Action Electrical.
I will not. I'll let you guys know tomorrow morning.
346. Edmonton Sports Leader TSN 1260. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Cameras blinking, Connor, Declan. So just giving you guys an update on that. We got loads of text to get to 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, how can you be an elite defenseman and not kill penalties from Bad Niv regarding, I'm guessing that's for Heiskanen. Well, Heiskanen's playing 27 minutes a night for the Dallas Stars in the playoffs so far. Yes, they don't use him. He's like their fifth penalty killer, but they use him up. Like I don't think because you don't kill for 2 minutes a night, maybe on the penalty killer, that doesn't mean you're elite. He defends all the best players 5-on-5 all the time. Does that mean he can't play a short box on the penalty kill? Well, I think he probably could. But when they look at his minutes and his distribution, they're like, well, what are we going to play him 31 minutes so we can show he's an elite player? Or do we have other guys who we think might be a tad better suited on the penalty kill, but can't play like him 5-on-5 and on the power play? What? Is Connor McDavid not an elite forward anymore because he's not on the penalty kill? I don't think so. Right? I would actually think it's smarter. To me, I don't think your biggest mini-needing defenseman has to kill a lot of penalties to be good. Can Heiskanen kill penalties? Yeah, I have no doubt he could. Do I need him to do it? Not if I have others who can. And where if the drop off from Heiskanen on the PK to Suter on the PK isn't very noticeable, why wouldn't I just play Suter there? Because I know at 5-on-5, Heiskanen's better. That's how I would look at it. So, see. Hey, guys, why is there no talk of bringing Sam Gagner in? Basically, because he hasn't really played here all season long. Right? He hasn't played here in the final, 3 months of the season? Like, I know he got called up late and got into some games when the Oilers were resting guys, but I'd be surprised. Right? They're going to put in Sam Carrick before they put in Sam Gagner. Now, if you want to play Gagner ahead of Curtis Brown, Connor Brown, not Curtis Brown. I could probably see an argument in a sense. He doesn't have the speed of Brown. He doesn't kill penalties like Brown. So how's he going to play many minutes? That would be my other one, right? I don't care who you are as a player. It's really hard to do anything if you're only playing 8 minutes a night. Now, Brown, I think, stays in until Henrique is ready. Once Henrique is ready, Brown's coming out because he hasn't really done much. For a guy who missed a series and has now played 2 games, what's the most memorable thing Brown's done in 2 games? Probably, got a penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty when he touched Quinn Hughes and grabbed his shirt. I don't know I guess that's not true. He did hit the goalpost in game 3. So I guess that would be it. So we'll see. Hey guys, it's the fact that Vancouver's crying so much about the refs is comical. They've got away with a lot. The Oilers get away with some as well. The accidental high stick, the missed one on Hyman earlier in the game as well. That happens from Ben. Yeah, I will say, I think it's fairly even from some people in Vancouver and some people in Edmonton who focus on the officials. I don't get it. I think it's the biggest waste of time, personally. Oh, he missed that call. Now, the McDavid one, it's obvious. That should have been a double minor. There's no debate on it. None. You can't debate that. Should have been a double minor. How to get missed? I have no idea. Obviously, the ref wasn't in the right position. Valid. But Vancouver didn't take one penalty in game 1 because too many men on the ice isn't like an sticking or holding, or it's not an infraction, right? It's not what it is. So, do I think they played a perfectly clean game? Probably not. But they didn't have any penalties called. So I don't really think they're in a position to complain. Was there some penalties called against the Oilers in game 3 that were questionable? The Darnell Nurse one for sure. I don't know how that's penalty. Even the Draisaitl interference one, you're like, really? But hey, they happen. So if you didn't like the missed call on McDavid, well, there are some gifts that go your way. And you scored on the Darnell Nurse one. Like, I don't know. To me, it's just a waste of time to be worrying about the officials. They're going to, guess what? The officials are going to miss a call here. Just like players are going to miss a pass. They're going to have a bad turnover. It's just how it goes. So. Hey, guys, for Craig Berube and a coach that matters is being considered for Toronto. Can a coach actually make his team tougher? A tough coach can't all of a sudden make Marner, Matthews, etc. tougher from Colombo. Well, not physically, no, but you, like anything, you can, as a coach, instill a level of here is our bar, whether it's on the forecheck, on the back check, on finishing your checks, whatever you determine it to be, to say this is our level now. And this is where it needs to be. And if you don't match it, I'm going to talk to you about it. Now, I get that superstars are a little bit different than fourth line guys. I understand that. That's how it works. But yet, I do believe you can instill what is your level of expectations as a coach. And if you outline it very clearly and concisely, and the players continually don't do it, well, then you're going to have a problem. But if you make it outline, and again, no head coach who's worth his salt is going to say, Connor McDavid, I expect you to finish all of your checks like I do fourth line guys. It's just not going to happen. Now, some people might say that's unfair, but it's just the truth. Right? That's not McDavid's role on the team. And what was McDavid? Second or third most hits on the order? So trust me, he definitely did more than expected in the physical department. So we'll see. Hey, guys, Vancouver wants it more. Our best players being pointless in 2 of the 3 games. Our goalie needs to get his head out of his, you know what? Kane, Perry, and other players need to be physical. Fly by McLeod is too soft. Knobloch's getting out coach. After all this, then you can blame officiating. But it's being both ways from Dean. Well, Dean, I would agree with you that, yes, the Oiler players are the reason they're down 2-1 in the series, not the officials. Wholeheartedly agree. And if any Vancouver fan thinks the reason Edmonton won game 2 was because of officials, they're not paying attention. Right? You miss a caller here, it's going to happen. But the refs aren't the ones that turned the puck over twice in the defensive zone. They weren't the ones who both rushed in the corner to Miller to leave Besser wide open. That's not the officials. Right? The officials weren't the ones who had point-blank chances, didn't bury them on Sheeloffs. That's not the officials. So, again, it's always a little too easy and convenient. And it starts really, unfortunately for some people, it even starts in minor hockey. I have seen parents and coaches freak out on officials. I've seen it. In like U11. You're like, what? It's U11. If these kids can string together 3 passes in a row on the tape, it's a win. And you're worried about a 14-year-old official missing a call? Well, that should be tripping. I need to yell at him. Like, what? Like, come on. But it's honestly, it'll never change unless you make every kid who plays minor hockey have to official a certain amount of games every year. And then their parents have to sit in the crowd and they get to listen to the other idiot parents who yell at their 14 and 15-year-old. Geez, I don't really like that all of a sudden. Maybe I should rethink how I blame the officials. Just an idea. Very simple. It'll never happen because it's too common sense to happen. But it should. And it would make a world of difference. Right? Yes, there'll be missed calls. Do they impact the game? Not very often. Just because you get a power play doesn't mean you're going to score in the power play. The Oilers got 2 power plays in the third period last night. Did they score in either one? No, they didn't. Thus lost 4-3. 3:56. When we come back, Wanye Gretz will be by. We will hear from Andy Petrillo, also Chris Knobloch on does his team need to be more physical? Or because you have the puck as much as the Oilers have had, is it hard to be physical? We'll find out from Coach Knobloch when we return after the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You can save up to $200 on select 4 tires right now until June 8th, plus an additional $50 off any service of over $150. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Some news coming down from last night's scrum. Once the game wrapped up, Vancouver Canucks defenseman Carter Halley will be suspended for 1 game for the cross-check to the face of Connor McDavid. And Nikita Zadorov received a $5,000 fine for his cross-check on McDavid, the maximum allowable under the CBA. On the ice tonight, we're about an hour and 10 minutes away from puck drop as the Rangers look to wrap up their series against the Hurricanes, leading 3-1. Then at 7:30, the Stars and Avs meeting Dallas up 2-1 in that series. In the association, 2 more playoff games tonight. Cavs and Celtics meeting in Cleveland. Boston up 2-1, tip-off just after 5 o'clock. Then at 7:30, the Thunder take on the Mavs. Dallas leads that series 2-1 as well. Major League Baseball, the Jays in action in Baltimore take on the Orioles. First pitch set for 4:35. Phillies up the Tigers hosting the Marlins. Phillies in New York to take on the Mets. Braves host the Cubs. Pirates in Milwaukee. The Guardians travel to Texas to take on the Rangers. Astro meet the Athletics. Cards in Anaheim. Diamondbacks host the Reds. Royals take on the Mariners. And the Giants up against the LA Dodgers. PWHL playoffs rolling on. Toronto looking to complete the sweep over Minnesota tonight just after 7 o'clock. That one, Toronto leading 2-0. In the NFL, Detroit Lions are signing quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million contract extension that includes $170 million guaranteed. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and safety Antoine Winfield agreeing on a 4-year, $84 million deal. That'll make him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. In the soccer world, according to reports, Jesse Marsh will be named the next head coach of the Canadian national team. Marsh expected to lead Canada for its June pre-Copa America games in Netherlands and France. And from the NASCAR world, they're going to introduce a 5-race in-season tournament with a $1 million prize in 2025. Under the format, the top 32 drivers will be placed in an NCAA tournament-style bracket in which the head-to-head result of each matchup will determine who advances to the next round in the following race. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Wanye Gretz of Oilers Nation, Andy Petrillo from CBC Sports, plus we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling Jingle auditions take 1 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Are you ready, guys?
We were born ready. Heck yes, Nuge. Drop the beat.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
We freaking killed it, Nuge. That's what I'm talking about, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Nice guys. We're going to sell a lot of air conditioners.
Hey, doesn't Legacy offer no payments and no interest for a year on those?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the assist on the copy points there, Nuge.
It's just what I do.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Ennio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Except when they talk hockey.
Mm-hmm. Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby.
But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhauk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Whoa. I earned that much Canadian Tire money on top of those sweet discounts? Did they make a mistake?
Value so stacked, you'll wonder if it's a mistake. The Triangle Max Stack event, now till May 16th at Canadian Tire, Sport Chek, and Mark. Conditions apply. Discounts available to all shoppers.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
It's time to embrace the drive and comfort and luxury at Buick. Right now, finance the 2023 Envision at 3.99% for up to 48 months. With Envision's available 2-liter turbocharged Ecotec engine, available adaptive cruise control, plus available panoramic power moonroof and impressively stylish exterior. From downtown shopping to out-of-town exploring, people will be turning heads. I mean, can you blame them? Visit your local Buick dealer for details.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of Lower Bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Turn the music up in the headphones. So you can go and brush your shoulder off. I got you. Yeah. If you feeling like a pimp, nigga, go and brush your shoulders off. Ladies and pimps too, go and brush your shoulders off. This is crazy, baby. Don't forget that boy told you, kid. Turn up your shoulders. Probably over to y'all. Probably be locked by the folks. Trying to hustle some things. All the ballers is bouncing, they like the way I be leaning. All the rappers be hating off the track that I'm making, but all the hustlers they love it just to see one of us making. Came from the bottom to the top of the pops. London.
Just after 4 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger with you on a lovely Monday. The Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca. Text line is fire today at 833-401-1440. Some of you, I'm going to take a break on ref text just for the day. Right? I don't. Some of you don't like the refs. It's fine. Rarely, when an official has a great game, does anyone ever? Hey, you know what? I thought the refs were really good last night. No. Again, the officials' impact on this series is incredibly low. Incredibly low. The Edmonton Oilers have scored 5 goals at 5-on-5 in 3 games, 2 of them by forwards. Their goaltender has a .793 save percentage. Offensively, defensively, goaltending, they can be better. Much more impactful than the officials on the outcome of the series so far. And you know the Oilers are down 2-1. I don't think it's a cause for panic just yet. They're going to get a break if you missed it. Carson Soucy, 1-game suspension. He is not going to play tomorrow night. So Noah Juleson will come in for the Vancouver Canucks. We don't know who's going to start in goal for them tonight. Chris Knobloch said he would say tomorrow. Well, they're going to have a morning skate. You're going to be able to tell who's in the in goal. That's one of the positions, like, unless he's all of a sudden going to have the goalies switching every 5 minutes, which I highly doubt. We will know tomorrow, very early in the morning skate, who is going to be the starting goaltender tomorrow night. Whether it's going to be Stuart Skinner or whether it's going to be Calvin Pickard. I know some people are like, hey, Jack Campbell. I don't. Jack Campbell hasn't been up in the NHL in months. I'd be quite surprised if he would get the look first. So we'll see. We welcome in Wanye Gretz to the show. You can lower your mic a little bit, buddy. There you go.
That better?
Yes.
Remember that time your mic popped off?
Yeah.
And you caught it like a Jedi master before it hit the ground?
No. Well, just got to pay attention, buddy.
Unbelievable.
You got to pay attention.
I guess I was hurrying over here through traffic, and I wonder, my hearing must have, what was the save percentage of the Oilers?
7.983. 7.983, yeah.
You'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's not great. So the question is, do you think they go back to Stuart Skinner or do they go to Mr. Pickard for his first playoff start tomorrow night?
I think you have to go with your guy. I was just on a very negative podcast over at OilersNation.com headquarters, and I was the only one on the show that didn't say a negative word the entire time. And everybody else, Jack Campbell. With all due respect to Jack Campbell, good heavens.
Are people honestly thinking Jack Campbell, who hasn't played a game in the NHL in 5 months, is going to be the guy they bring in ahead of Calvin Pickard?
Yeah.
Like, there's no chance. It's either going to be Skinner or Pickard.
And Calvin Pickard is a perfectly fine goalie, and he's shown it numerous times. The playoffs are long, assuming you go deep. You don't have to start your starter every game. There's a case to be made to start Pickard next game. I just think you have to go with Stu Skinner to show it's his team.
It is you know what? This is where they get paid the big bucks. If you were in the room and you talk to the players, like there's no chance Stuart Skinner's like, yeah, you know what, coach, give me the night off. Of course, no player in the history of NHL is ever going to ask for the game. That's not going to happen. But you know what? So you have to remove emotion, is what Chris Knobloch said, and I think that's bang on. Last night after the game, it would have been an easy one to say, "Oh, we're starting Pickard. No questions asked. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I need somebody to take the fall for this." Right? That's just human nature. But then you calm down. You know what? I don't know what he does to calm down. Everybody has different things. You know, maybe he's a Zen master. You know, maybe he's Serenity now, like Frank Costanza. Right? Maybe he's got to go out and scream and yell. I don't know what he does, but it's in a sauna. You know, who knows? But you wake up and you have conversations with your goalie coach. They go over the team. Because yesterday, there wasn't a goal that was bad. The Zadorov goal in game 2, not good. The Garland goal in game 1, not good. But yesterday, none of the goals are bad. The problem was there was 4 of them on 15 shots. And like probably Besser's second goal when he has all sorts of time coming in and he rips it. Like that was a really good shot. So I'm like, all right. But you know, the other one, you're like, can he find a way just to make a save? Right? Because sometimes you got to make a save. Just like sometimes forwards feel free to score goals on a .906 career goaltender in the AHL who you scored 8 times in the 49 shots in game 1 or 2. I'm just saying. The Oilers probably could have had better than 3 goals yesterday. So it's an interest. I see actually, I don't like sitting on the fence. I think they're going to go with Pickard, and I can understand that. But then there's a part of me that's like, wow, it's like you got the angel and the devil on your shoulder, and they're both telling you different things. You're like, well, I kind of see your point. But I think they might go with Pickard because what you said long term, and when I consider Stuart Skinner talked about, it's not the physical fatigue, it's more mental. And so even just getting a break, because I don't believe that if Stuart Skinner doesn't start game 4, that means now he's mentally crushed. He's like, oh, the coaches don't like me. I don't believe that that's how he's going to act. But I think there might just be a little reset. Okay, now when I get back in, it'll be different. We'll see.
What do you think about him not doing interviews after the game?
Well, that's very unlike Skinner. And, he first thing today stands in, on the mic, didn't have to. He just says, hey, guys, you know what? I apologize. That's on me. You know what? It should have been there. It was pretty emotional last night. And so it's hard for me to get mad at someone when they tell you the truth. It's pretty much what every parent tells their kids. Think about it. You won't get in trouble. If you lie, you'll get in way more trouble. If you tell me the truth, even if it's something that you weren't supposed to do, I'll be like, I respect you. Okay. And we still have to discipline you, but you told the truth and it's infinitely better. Every mother and father listening right now, and every kid, even if you don't have parents, you're like, dad and mom were, you know what? When I really got in trouble is when I didn't tell the truth. That's usually when you got really in trouble. And so, Skinner comes out, he owns up to it. And you're like, okay, it wasn't right what he did, but he apologized. I'm like, all right, you move on. It doesn't that's going to have zero impact in whether or not he plays or not. But it just kind of shows you, hey, Skinner, like to me, if I'm evaluating all the information and I'm the coach and I'm like, hey, this is a guy who always talks. Well, now he didn't want to. Is he maybe mentally fatigued? And so that's another reason why I might go to Pickard.
You're obviously biased in that you participate in these scrums. Lots of times I'll watch from home, Gregor, and I'll see on the screen there right beside Connor in the interview, and I'm always, there he is. Do you think it's an obligation of players to come out, or do you think it's something where
that's your job? It's part of you. Not everybody gets to like their job, right? Everybody out there listening right now has something in their job that they have to do that they don't love doing. It doesn't matter. So you can't say, I want to be an NHL player and I want to get all the accolades and everything's great, but if something goes on, I get to say no. Like there's actually, it's in there, to the NHL. I wouldn't actually, now I don't know. I know for a fact players have actually been fined in the past because it stipulates right there that part of their contract is speaking to, now not every day, right? That you kind of rotates it around. But that is part of it if the media pool puts in a request for a player, unless he's injured, the player has to be made available, right? Now, there are certain instances, like I can't remember who it was. One of the players after the game, their wife was expecting. He's like, sorry, guys, his wife's expecting. All right, like I get it, right? Like you can have some, but he wasn't hurt because he obviously wasn't hurt. He came back in the game. By the way, I haven't talked about that. That was a really astute decision by Knobloch to basically create another timeout by waiting until after the third goal. They'd already used their timeout. And then all of a sudden saying, Skinner, you're going back in. And then Stuart Skinner slowly skates down the bench, flips the hair back, finds his mask. They're taking all the time. The Vancouver bench is freaking out. The Oilers are trying to slide guys back out on the ice. Or it's kind of like after an offside, right? You couldn't make a late change. But that was a smart move by Knobloch just to try to rest his guys to go back out again. But he clearly wasn't hurt. And because sometimes if a player gets injured in a game and they're seeing the trainers for a long time, you're like, okay, now you can wait around, but rarely is it that dire that you will, right? So yeah, I think that's part of your job. And just because Skinner, and that's why there are players who will go out of their way not to do it. And you're kind of like, well, and I call them a baby. I'll say it right to their face because I've gotten into arguments with players over it. I'm like, dude, the hardest part of your job is talk to the media for 5 minutes a day. Suck it up, buttercup. We want to talk about real hardships in life, then let's get into it. And I've had conversations like that with players and we got into it and that's fine. But, but most of them understand we have a job. Trust me, I've been in rooms when a team's lost a Stanley Cup, they lost a Grey Cup. Do you think I want to be hey, buddy, your dream just got stomped on. It's like somebody took a high heel to your nuts and just ground it in. Hey, how do you feel? Like, duh, right? It's not great. But yeah, I think Skinner should talk. And 99% of the time he does. So that's why I'm not going to rip on him because that's abnormal for him. But it's also one where if I'm the coach, I'm like, I want to talk to him about it. Like, what had you so frustrated that you didn't want to talk? Because that's outside the norm for him, right? Like he's had where was the game? The Tampa Bay game? Yeah, the Tampa Bay game, right? Where they lost 8-4. The Oilers were all over them and Skinner let in a lot of goals. He comes after the game and goes, well, everybody in the room should be happy except me because I didn't do my job. Like he doesn't hide. So it was different last night for him not to. It just shows you that the magnitude of the playoffs, it's a different beast.
I wonder at the end of the game like that, the level of dejection that a guy like Stuart Skinner feels because he's a professional and this is how you gain playoff experience. You get into bad situations and you play your way out. Do you think he's just head hung low after the game and that's why he doesn't want to talk? Or like you mentioned earlier, he's frustrated. Like, what do you think the vibe is that prevents him from talking?
It's a good question. I can't get in the mind of players. I just think, you know what? As much as fans get upset about when their team loses, I would say magnify it or amplify it 10 to 30 times for players. This is their job, right? Like they spend all the hours in the summer when no one's watching, training, hours away from their kids, which a lot of people do in any job. Don't get me wrong. They're the only ones who sacrifice. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they put infinitely more time and energy into it than fans do. And that's not a knock on fans. That's just the reality of it, right? Fans do it because they love it. It's fun, but it's not their job, right? If you miss a game because you have family commitments, you get to miss a game, right? You can't just, hey, guess what? You know what? It's my daughter's Christmas concert. Can I miss the game tonight? No, it's not how it works. So it's different, right? But they're highly competitive. They want to win. I'm guessing he's super frustrated, right? Even though he'd been pulled, like sometimes you probably don't want to talk. And it's not the right answer, but it's a human element. Like they're human beings. I've always tried to tell myself. I never got into the adulation factor either. Like they're good at sports. They're not better human beings than me. So when it comes to movie stars, anybody who's a big time, like, famous person, I really don't care that they're famous. Like they're good at something. That doesn't mean they're great at everything. It doesn't mean they're better than you. Are they better hockey players than me? 100%. Great. But I see doctors who are infinitely better at doctoring than I am. And I'm not like, oh my God, right? Teachers are way better teachers than I am, right? Because I'm not a teacher. But it doesn't mean I'm like, oh my God, there's a teacher. Better not ask him a question. You know what I mean? Like, so I do at times, I don't fall. I think one of the biggest issues in our society is our over adulation of human beings. I think at times it's unhealthy.
Gregor, that's because you yourself are a sports celebrity, so you don't understand it. I, on the other hand, am a normal person. I once saw Steve Staios at the grocery store and crashed my cart full of groceries into an old lady's cart full of groceries because I was so impressed to see Steve Staios at the grocery store. That's how normal people react. If you see an Oiler at the gas station, you scream his plus minus at him. That's the code.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. 12.
Well, dude, I didn't get into radio, though, until I was like 28. And before then, I just never got into that. I think there's some people that respect what they do, but don't. It's like, well, you can never criticize them, or they deserve way more criticism because of how much they make. I try to always find a line of what I deem fair for mine, and everybody has their different line in the sand, right? I know what mine is. You probably have yours. Connor has his. Every listener has a different one. And so there's just certain things that I'll never... And there's certain times where I know I'll never be like I could never work for TMZ or other places. I don't like the salacious storylines. That just doesn't interest me. I look at players and say, okay, you know what they do off of the ice, unless it somehow impacts what they do on the ice or impacts aside, like if somebody murders someone, we'll obviously have to talk about it. Right. But if the guy's out and he's partying, whatever. I don't know if his partying means that's the reason he scored 3 goals or was -3. It's just a guess.
What about when NHL players drop songs like Zibanejad or Cooper Marody? Does that excite you in any way?
Well, I wouldn't say it excites me any more than any other musician drop it. Is the song good?
It's Zibanejad, right, Connor? Who's the DJ and just has like a full-on album out?
I think he does, and yeah, Cooper Marody had the single.
Cooper Marody
as
had
well.
a song.
Well, Cooper Marody had a song, but
Zibanejad's a DJ.
But if Cooper Marody didn't play, briefly in the American League, and did he get into? I might have gotten a few NHL games. Was his music career any really better, worth listening to than 99% of the other musicians out there who struggled all the way up?
I think you're looking at the reverse way. It's like if any Oilers or AHL Oilers have any extra skills that we can support, like Carrick's family having a maple syrup farm,
right?
Or Cooper Marody releasing a song, if they have other interests, I
would talk about it, sure.
Who was it they showed playing the piano? There's an Oiler who's
Cody Ceci.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a very good pianist.
To me, that's very interesting. It's not salacious, but it's interesting.
Well, no, that's totally different. Yes.
Zibanejad did DJ actually at Lollapalooza in Stockholm.
Really?
So, yeah.
And he has his own songs.
He's got 5 songs.
Because I was like, oh, did you just play In the Club by 50 Cent, the greatest song of all time? And they're like, no, he has his own music.
So he's like, what kind of DJ is he, Cons? Like, does he sing?
Like electronica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good. I listened to it. If there's an NHL player with
So
an
is he
extra
like
skill,
the Avicii of NHL players?
Rest in peace.
Yes. Is he?
He's a DJ? Yes.
There you go. Oh, all right. I didn't know this was a band. I think I'd heard that once, but are you playing some of his music there, Cons? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I found it.
Is it any good?
I don't want him to sue us or anything. Can we even?
Oh, that doesn't sound like him.
That's so good, Connor.
Oh my God.
That's so good.
Top seller right there. Off the chart. He does have sick flow going right now.
But that's cool though when players have other interests, I think.
Oh yeah, sure. But again, is he better than everybody else who grinds it out, or does he get accolades because he's an NHL player? That's all I'm saying. So I look at it and say, okay, is he really good at it or is it just a cool story? There's two different things.
Cam McDavid one time did an interview that when Connor, I think, was in junior high or something, he made a techno song. And Cam had it on the family computer for a while, then had it on his phone. I can't remember who was interviewing, somebody mainstream media.
Mhm.
They're like, do you still have the song, Cam? He's like, no, I lost the phone or whatever. I would give anything, Gregor. I would pay any sum. And I own a woman's Stanley Cup ring from 1984 to hear the Connor McDavid song from junior high that he made. Unbelievable.
I guess.
Cam said it was good to the interviewer. Connor can do anything.
No, okay.
Could probably make a banger for the clubs.
Yeah. I think all the DJs out there right now are saying, I don't think so. It's a little bit harder.
You don't think a guy with Connor's mental discipline and
Well,
fortitude-
you know what? He has really quick hands, so maybe he could spin really fast, right? Right? Maybe he could do that.
Wasn't he Scholastic Player of the Year too?
I think he might have been once, yeah.
How shocking is that to be that Connor McDavid on the ice?
Well, he's committed. That doesn't surprise me.
So you don't think he can make a song?
Well, there's a little bit different than being Scholastic student than being like a sick DJ. Right?
Being a sick DJ and writing a song for Cam McDavid to carry around in his iPod Nano for 4 years is two different. I think Connor could
Hey,
write
I'll
a
say
song.
this. If the song was that good, his brother wouldn't have lost it.
Maybe Cam's a hater deep down, and this is where he draws the line.
No,
You spoke earlier.
I don't think so.
Drawing the line, maybe he said Connor can be the greatest athlete in the world, but I can't have him be a musician, not on my watch.
Also, 2-time Scholastic Player of the Year.
That's freakish.
422. When we return, Kevin Woodley is going to join us in about an hour's time. I'm very curious about what Woodley has been piling over the video, looking to see, is there anything like yesterday's probably not the best example because Skinner didn't give up a bad goal. Obviously, we saw the Zadorov. Obviously, we saw the Garland goal. But of the goals yesterday, one of them's got to be saved. You can't have your goalie like never make a big save. He's got to make something. It wasn't like they were all just ridiculous no chance shots. Right? Sheloff's making some saves that you don't think he should make. So we'll talk to Woodley about the goaltending situation. Who would he go with? Right? How much does rest have to do with anything? We'll get into all of that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
AccuSteel heavy haul trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel heavy haul trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Clear up some garage space and keep your tires in prime condition at Windermere Chrysler.
.428. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you on a busy Monday. Oilers are off today. They didn't skate, but they did find out that Carson Soucy has been suspended one game. He will not play game 4 for the Vancouver Canucks after cross-checking Connor McDavid in the face at the conclusion of game 3. McDavid slashed him, Soucy slashed him back, and then they kind of stood there, and then Zadorov came in, cross-checked McDavid, and Soucy gave him another one right in the chops. So it's kind of a no-brainer. He was getting suspended. Some people thought he would get 2. I'm like, come on. Pietrangelo only got 1, and he tried to break Draisaitl's arm. I didn't think he was going to get 2, but he gets 1, and the Oilers now need to take advantage. Remember last year? Now, I know that Nurse got suspended too, but still, Pietrangelo was out. The Oilers didn't win game 5. Soucy's out, and he's not Pietrangelo, but him and Myers play a lot against Oilers' top line. You got to take advantage of this and find a way to win the game. Then it's a best of 3, and away you roll. The big question for the Oilers is who will start in goal. For some, it's like, guys, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be Skinner, and you could be right. Others are like, I think they're going to go to Pickard. I'm like, yeah, you could be right too. I don't think there's a clear, obvious answer. My gut tells me they might go with Pickard. Just from a rest factor, everything else. More of a mental rest. We'll see. Let's get to our footy report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay warm all winter and cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. Andy Petrillo from One Soccer and CBC Sports joins us once again. Andy, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I am outstanding. There's lots to discuss. Man, there's actually a lot of soccer talk going on, but let's start with the MLS. Of course, Messi playing his first game in Canada. No surprise, it was quite the draw.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, the lineup outside the hotel the night before, didn't matter what hours in the morning it was. I mean, I witnessed something like that years ago. I believe it would have been like 2008, I think was the year when Real Madrid came to play Toronto FC. And that team was stacked, but like Cristiano Ronaldo was on that team, Kaká was on that team. And I just remember being so scared of all these people because they're pushing, they're jostling for position. They just want a piece of you. So, I mean, the fans in Montreal, They were so excited to see him. And then, I mean, it's Lionel Messi, and he transcends so much in that sport. But it's also got to be like a real kick in the pants when here you are, your stadium's packed if you're CF Montreal, and everyone is chanting Messi's name. I mean, that's how the Buffalo Sabres must feel whenever, they take on the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Leafs are in town. We've seen this before when like an opposition suddenly seems to take over your home arena. But, I know that CF Montreal players were kind of hurt after the match where they're like, can you believe our fans were chanting Messi's name? Like, hello. Here we are needing your motivation to win this game, but it just goes to show that it's quite the tour, it's quite the circus whenever Messi's in town, and it was pretty special to see him play on Canadian. So I know that so the Montreal fans got to be treated to that first, and they got to be treated to an Inter Miami win, come from behind. I mean, give credit to CF Montreal, they scored 2 goals, they just couldn't hang on to the lead.
Yeah, you meant like it was pandemonium a little bit with Messi around, right? Like there was people going crazy over it, and like the fans that my MLS Montreal, they had the 2-0 lead, they squandered it, but they're chanting Messi's name. Obviously, he's a huge icon in the soccer world for them. Have you crunched the numbers? Like, how much of an impact is he making? Like, how much more? Fans, revenue, everything did they have by him coming to Canada? Because I'm pretty sure this is his first game played in Canada.
Yeah, as far as Canadian numbers, don't quite know that yet, but I can tell you that there was a lot of concern for this new MLS on Apple deal. I mean, this is the first league ever to strictly go behind a paywall and be streaming. And there were rumors coming out that the numbers were not good, that the amount of people that they thought would subscribe to Apple, because you have to remember, they also sent out these codes to all season ticket holders to be able to access it for free and then get like a pretty good discount. Like they did everything to entice people, and they were gobsmacked by the amount of season ticket holders who did not take advantage of that passcode, right? So I mean, this was an experiment by MLS. I think a lot of leagues have been watching MLS just to see how is this actually going to work out. We know that other leagues, and now the NHL is going to be one of them in Canada, where they're going to tinker a little bit with streaming services. As we know, Amazon's going to be doing Monday Night Hockey now, but this again was the first league to take it completely behind closed doors. They signed Messi. Their subscriptions go through the roof, and you have to remember, MLS signed this Apple deal for 10 years. So year one, everyone's like, this is an absolute disaster. Messi ends up joining halfway through with the Leagues Cup, and they've hit their numbers so much so that the rest of the 10-year deal, it's smooth sailing for them. Social media numbers have gone up, jersey sales have gone up. And then ticket sales, right? Like I think last I saw the game in CF Montreal, like the average ticket was going for about $400 a ticket. Which in MLS, by the way, that's a lot, because a lot of tickets you can get for $45 to $75. So that's a huge markup. You can imagine the closer it gets to playoffs and beyond, those numbers will go into the thousands. But yeah, it's been a huge revenue generator for MLS for sure.
New MLS rules say that if a player is down for more than 15 seconds, he has to leave for more than 2 minutes. What do you think about this amended to the rule?
So, I mean, I like it because players were taking advantage of it. Yeah. We all know this, flopping around like fish on the field. They stay there forever. It gets to the point where you can go line up, buy popcorn, come back, and the guy's still on the field. And you're like, what is going on? So that's exactly what, MLS is trying to stop, is unnecessary stalling of time. And they're also saying that if you actually are really injured, well, don't worry. You can go off the pitch and you can get attended to by the medical staff for 2 minutes. Now, the reason why this is in the spotlight, of course, is because in that game with Lionel Messi and CF Montreal, he goes down, knee injury. He's down for more than 15 seconds. So the referee calls over the medical staff and says he's got to get off the pitch. So now he's off the pitch, and, miraculously, every soccer player jumps up and down. Now they're good. But he wants to come back on.
Yeah.
And the ref says, you can't. And he looks into the camera. He says it in Spanish, but he looks into the camera and says, this new rule, it's not good. It's bad. A free kick is being taken for Miami. He's the one who takes the free kicks. Now, no worries for Inter Miami. Rojas goes and scores the goal. It's beautiful. But Messi has to sit on the sideline for 2 minutes. So do I like the rule? Yes, because I think the players brought it upon themselves. Do I think the rule will be finessed the more we move forward? For sure. I think they're going to do it like this for the year. Then they're going to look at the metrics. They're going to see if it actually did, in fact, speed up the game. Did it, in fact, encourage players to not fall on the ground if they weren't seriously injured? So I think they're going to look at the metrics, finesse if they need to. But I like it. I like it because if I have to see one more player go down on the ground 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then suddenly he pops up, it's all good. Like, no, that's annoying. That to me disrespects the spirit of the game. I don't like it at all. So we'll see how this rule pans out.
And just for clarence, when he's off, it's not like you sub, right? You're just down 10 players for 2 minutes?
You're just down 10 players for 2 minutes. Exactly. Yeah. So they were down to 10. That obviously frustrated him. Then they were awarded a free kick. Obviously he was frustrated because he's the one who takes free kicks. So it was just like unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that it's Lionel Messi. I hope MLS doesn't just suddenly kowtow to a guy, with this rule having only come into place April. I don't think they will. But it's like, okay, Messi, tranquilo, right? Like, again, the players brought this upon themselves for years of staying down on the ground for too long. So we'll see how this works out.
Andy Petrillo joins us. TFC and New York CFC had the he said, she said, he said kind of thing. There was I don't even know if it was a brawl, but they're getting into it afterwards. Herdman claimed that the New York head coach punched one of his players back on March 16th. Andy. Yet we never heard about it until now. So I don't know. My spidey sense is tingling where they're like, okay, we're going to wait. Now, maybe that was the right thing to do. Say, we're not going to make it public. We're just going to settle it ourselves. What did you make of the melee and everything else that came out afterwards?
I think confused, bizarre. Like, I'm just like, what is going on here? Because to your point, I mean, you have GMs on the horn with the league if they don't like a yellow card that was given to their team. So I'm like, you're telling me that a player gets punched in the face and you didn't tell your GM to go and call the league about it. So there's some holes here in John Herdman's story. I don't want to say it's false. Now, he has since come out and said that the player was Jaquil Marshall-Rutty. He's the only 19-year-old on the team.
Yeah.
But what we're also learning is that apparently John Herdman did not witness this. So this was Jaquil Marshall-Rutty going back into the room and telling his coach that's what happened to him. Yeah. So Herdman says that he requested security cameras, footage of the tunnel, at which point he discovered that wherever this supposed punch happened, it was not actually caught on camera. So everyone's like, okay, but did you inform the league? And he's been giving a wishy-washy answer on whether or not the league was actually informed about it.
Okay.
Fast forward to the weekend, and Chris Cushing, who's the head coach of NYFC, he's going, whoa. He's like, this is the first time I've heard of me being accused of punching a player in the face. Like, I would think that's a pretty serious offense. Like, the league would have investigated that. So there's a little bit of like, okay, if he did do that, why didn't TFC launch a complaint?
Right.
If he didn't do it, why is Herdman saying he did? That's defamation of character. And now you're playing with fire if you're going to make that kind of accusation. And also, I worry a little bit because, as we know, and we've experienced this in the world of hockey, and also in NFL, like the headhunting that used to go on in dressing rooms. Listen, we all know about it, right? Putting a name up on the board.
Yeah.
That is highly shunned. That is highly punishable. We know that pitchers in baseball now, you cannot take justice into your own hands and try to hit a guy with a pitch. That serious offense, serious fines if you do that. And I'm sorry, but Herdman cannot be using that as a reason to get his players riled up and go out and play some vigilante soccer. So there's a lot going on here, Jason. So, of course, we're waiting right now to hear from the league. Are they going to issue a statement to say that they're investigating? Chris Cushing has come out and said that they have launched a complaint now with the league, and they're leaving it with their legal team. So now NYFC is actually turning the tables on Herdman and TFC, saying you can't just throw that kind of accusation around. So we're actually going to get the league involved, and we're going to have them investigate and get to the bottom of this. So pretty serious because, right now we're just like too many holes at the moment in TFC's story. So we'll see what comes of it. But right now we're just waiting to hear what the league has to say.
Andy Petrillo joins. Andy, and of course, this just came down about an hour or so ago, but Jesse Marsh has been head coach of the Canadian men's national team. Thoughts on this hiring?
Well, I mean, he was his name had been rumored right from the start. This is a player, former player, now coach, who has had a lot of success. He's a 3-time MLS Cup winner when he played. He obviously is a coach who moved on over to Europe and had success as well, both in Germany and England. Now he's going to have a chance to coach a national team. I think this is a good choice. But more than anything, I'm also just really happy that they're doing this before Copa America. In fact, Jesse Marsh is going to take over right away. This is effective immediately. So he's going to be the manager behind the bench for those crucial games that they have, the friendlies on June 6th and June 9th against Netherlands and France. So that's going to be really great for him to at least get those games under him against top opponents before Copa America. So it's a name. It's a successful coach. It's a guy who won as a player. So, let's hope he can get the best out of these guys. So I'm really excited to see Jesse Marsh in action.
Andy, great stuff. Enjoy your event this evening, and we will chat with you next Monday.
Thanks so much, Jason. Bye, guys.
There you go. That's Andy Petrillo joining us from One Soccer and CBC Sports. It was interesting, the Messi rule. I actually really like it to prevent diving. But what happens is once players, because you had to do something, it was becoming it was a joke. And I would actually like this in every soccer league around. I think it's fantastic because you still see it sometimes. Guys go down. Oh, it's like they're shot, right? They bring on the trainer comes out and magically, remember the spray? Like I always laughed about the spray. Oh, my ankle's sore. Now I'm good. I'm amazingly fit.
Have you seen the footage of the crowd outside the bus for Messi?
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
Well,
that's what I was telling you about earlier. Like people go a little squirrely.
Well, that was
dude, but that's how it is, man. Trust me, in Toronto, Austin Matthews can barely go anywhere. Honestly, I've talked
people just show up and gawk at him.
Well, yeah, they just no one ever get. Even Connor McDavid. Like Connor McDavid would try to go if he tried to go somewhere to have beer right now. Couldn't do it. Too many people oh, I gotta have a picture. I gotta have a video. Me. And they're just like, what? Right? And people think, well, no, that's normal. No, it isn't, because they used to before cell phones and everything else. And people oh, you know what? Ask people who went to David's on Argyle, right? The guys would talk stories about, hey, you know what? Yeah, I had drinks with Gretzky for 3 hours, but I didn't hound him. I didn't bug him. He was just like, hey, he's a good hockey player and it was great. And then I go watch him. It was awesome. But it is kind of unfortunate that nowadays we've jumped the shark and gone too far over to the point where the person's like, well, hey, we want them but they can never go anywhere because everybody wants their pound of flesh. So they're saying, oh, no, I need a picture. No, I need a picture. No, I need a picture.
But Connor's not dealing with what Messi's dealing with. That was I don't know how many thousands of people showed up at Messi's hotel in Montreal and completely surrounded the team bus.
Yeah.
And they were all jostling for position. It was quite crazy.
Yeah.
It was Justin Bieber in Tokyo type crowds.
Oh, yeah. No, it can be a little off the chart sometimes. No question. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. You can send us text. We got a lot of those coming in. We'll get back to 5 questions. We got Kevin Woodley coming up with our goalie scout report. Who would he recommend starting goal for the Oilers tomorrow night? We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
What's cracking at Cattail? Maybe you've got the next tiger on your hands. Cattail Crossing offers young golfers Operation 36, a program to improve their growing skill set with other golfers their age. To register, email proshop@cattailcrossing.ca.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Chip! Oh, Ray!
I haven't had a little Lady Gaga on the show in a while. It's nice. Every time I hear her, though, all I think about was just the devastation in Struds' voice when her and Bradley Cooper didn't get together in real life, because Struds thought for sure after the movie they were falling in love, but this did not. They were such good actors. They fooled him into thinking that it was acting, not real.
Does Strudwick also think that Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man are married in real life? That was marketing, Jason.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey,
marketing.
You know what? Everybody has different things that they would hope would happen. And so he was hoping for that, but it never, it did not happen.
Remember when Lady Gaga wore that meat dress to the VMAs?
I do. Yeah.
That was something.
Well, yeah. You know what? Hey, she knows how to market, as you were saying.
Genius.
Oh, why not? Was it real meat or was it like that fake meat? I don't know.
I think it was real meat.
Really?
I think it was raw beef.
I wonder if anybody ate it.
Wow.
It's probably a joke in there. We'll just move along, though, before we get in trouble. So let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now the tent sale is going on in tent or in store, 60% off clearance items right now. Also up to 25% off Canadian-made sofas. Sleep well, support Canada. At The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Just want to say quickly that dress is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was preserved by taxidermists as a type of jerky.
Oh.
So the dress is still...
See, look, we learn new things on the show.
Yeah. I had
Fantastic.
to look into that once that was brought up.
That's really good.
That doesn't count as one of the 5 questions, though, does it?
No,
not
not
even
even.
action.
Would you eat it would be the question.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 1. Susie, 1-game suspension. Does that number surprise you guys? And how much of an impact do you think this has on the Vancouver Canucks in Game 4?
You can't hit Connor McDavid.
Yeah, well, no, you can, but you can't cross-check him in the face. It doesn't surprise me at all. I thought he was going to get a game. There was no way he wasn't getting suspended, and I didn't think it was going to be more than that because Pietrangelo only got 1 in the round 2 last year, and I thought it was a much worse play. So, you know what? It fits. I do think it can have a significant impact just based on how they run their D pairs. And they and guess what? Tyler Myers sat out game 5 last year. They lost. Not last year, last series. They lost because Meyer and Soucy were playing a lot against Ryan O'Reilly. They didn't play that game. Did Meyer. He was banged up. So then Soucy and Noah Juleson played like 3 minutes head-to-head against O'Reilly, and that line scored 2 goals. So, no, I think it could have a significant impact for the Edmonton Oilers.
Question number 2. Final answers here. No sitting on the fence. You got to pick one. Who should start for the Oilers in between the pipes game 4? And give me a little reason why.
Connor, Stuart Skinner should start in net in game 4. And I will remind you that he has a mustache. I don't need to give any further work on this question.
Should we all shave in mustaches in solidarity?
He looks fantastic. Go with our guy.
Honestly, I think you can make a valid case for both, but I think they're going to go with Pickard. It's been a few games of some goals. I think maybe you take into account last year and say, hey, let's just let the guy breathe. And I think Chris Nomik, there's a little bit of foreshadowing when he said, hey, Pickard, whether it's in game 4 or game 5, he's going to play again. Skinner, excuse me. So I think it's going to be Pickard. But I think regardless of the outcome, they're going to go back to Skinner.
Question number 3, just going to the series so far. Has there been an element to the Canucks game that has surprised you or impressed you through the first 3 games?
At one point last night, all 5 Canucks were in their own blue paint. And you very rarely see that. I think that they impressed me. They seem well coached, and they play a good defensive game. They block a lot of shots. To hold the Oilers to 2 shots for a period and a half of hockey the other night, that is no easy feat.
I think they're definitely committed, right? There's no question they collapsed. Now, Edmonton had lots of really good chances last night, right? Like, it's not like the Oilers have 11 goals in 3 games. And the game that they didn't score 4 was the game they had the most shots in 45 last night. You know what? The Perry came close. They had a lot of close calls. So I'll say this, though, about Vancouver is the fact that they've held McDavid pointless for 2 out of 3 games is probably the most surprising to me.
Question number 4, very random here, but the NHL franchise in Utah still waiting on their names. We've seen the copyrights and all that sort of thing. But when they do decide the team name, what do you think would be a good color scheme for this team?
I actually like the black jerseys, so I'm going to just go black and white. I'm going to go very simple,
2
very
colors.
Traditional.
Now, how does that work? Do the Kings have any enforcement of color palettes in this day and age? No, anyone can be any color?
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, because you're going to have home and away, so it's never, and it's not. Now, I think you couldn't just do the exact same color combo. Somebody couldn't come out and say, okay, we're going to have the exact same teal as the Sharks, right? That would probably be unlikely as the main color. You might have teal as like a secondary one. So I don't know the exact, but I do think there's something you can't just copy another team in the league and have the exact same color patterns.
Some teams in the league have really distinctive colors too, and others don't, right?
No, exactly.
Like that new Royal Buffalo blue that they have on their jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bluiest blue I've ever seen.
Yeah. Like the
You
Kraken.
couldn't copy that blue, could you?
Probably not, no. Well, you probably wouldn't. It just comes down to you don't want to necessarily copy it just because, right?
But there's 30 team color or 32 team color combos out there. So it's
Mhm.
hard. It's
Yeah.
not like every.
Well, lots of teams have blue. They just all have a different shade of blue. And then who's the blue matching with?
Boy, that Buffalo blue sure is blue.
So what color do you think they're going to go with in Utah?
Blue.
Blue. All right.
Question number 5. It's the final one today. Today is Dennis Rodman's 63rd birthday. The Worm, one of the biggest personalities in sports. I love the story about how he just told the Bulls he has to go to Vegas for a little while, just blow some steam off. So if you had to hang out or got to hang out with one sports personality, athlete of all time, who would it be?
Now, are they going to be present day themselves, Connor, or do I get to hang out with them in a specific year?
You have to hang out with them in their era.
So I get to travel in time, or they have to come in my time?
You're in their time.
You're in their time.
So I get to pick any era to time travel to talk to an old sports athlete.
Just hang out with for a night.
Maybe like, for sure, young Gretzky, like Perm Gretzky. like GW jeans.
Like Pro Stars, where I'm sitting on the ground
Earlier,
with a pair of shorts.
hasn't got his teeth fixed, Gretzky. Sitting around the coffee table with all the Mr. Big Bars, Gretzky.
Oh, okay.
Still in grade 12 at Ross Shep Gretzky.
All right. I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to go with Charles Barkley. Because I think I'm going to have a mix of fun. There's going to be a few times where I'm questioning my decision because you know what, he might go a little bit too far, but I also think he seems like a really funny, laughable guy. So I would go with Charles Barkley.
You know who else?
You're going to get into a lot of. You're going to get into anywhere too. So that's the other. Like, you know what? He's a fairly noticeable chap.
Diego Maradona early on.
Yeah, you're going into South. You're going into South America,
like World Cup edition.
That's a different type of party, buddy. Right?
I'm not saying
Are you a raver?
I don't think they're raving, but I wouldn't be doing that. But to see them in their element, like in those days when he was taking helicopters in and like landing at nightclubs and stuff, and there's like 5,000 people waiting for him outside the games and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would be a real shock to your system, I think, if you're not used to it, right?
Have you seen the footage of Messi trying to come home in Argentina that one time after the World Cup?
It's
Like,
nuts.
how do you live your life?
Dude, well, you're living in a compound, basically.
That's part of the draw, I think, for like Beckham. You watch the documentary. He says he went to LA because he didn't have to live in this madcap world where people are waiting. Like, there's paparazzi, yes, but they're no more or less famous than other people in Hollywood. And I think maybe that was part of the reason people can't figure out why Messi left and came
to go to Florida.
Maybe it was for quality of life, because look at his life. He's
Yeah.
driving around. There's 50,000 people at his house.
No, that would be nuts, eh? Like crazy. So, yeah, some of them, you just want the guy who likes to have fun. That's really what I would like. I don't, even the guys I picked, I probably would rather have like a, I probably should go back and change my answer to like an offensive line. Who is Connor, you would know this. What was the offensive lineman for the Jets? Played there a long time. Number 64, I think, kind of a ginger, had the longer hair.
With the Jets.
Pretty sure it was the
I was
Jets.
thinking Kevin Mawai. There was a long time center, but he wasn't a ginger.
No, it wasn't Mawai.
Logan Mangle?
Yes.
The old Ohio State guy? Yeah,
Like,
center?
Yeah. So he just, you know what? I'd like to go with one of those guys because, you know what? You could still go to a lot of fun places, but you're not going to be just overwhelmed by everybody.
Nick Mangold.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking like Joe Namath back in the day, pre-cell phone.
Yeah, but almost too much. Yeah, but even then, man, like that guy, you're right. First of all, I get to wear a fur coat, so that might be fun.
Exactly.
I've never worn a fur coat. That would be a kind of a cool experience.
It'd be cool to see,
especially at that era, because people weren't going to come by and throw paint on me. So you know what? I could wear it.
Jack Nicklaus at the height of his game.
Yeah, but was Jack ever have? But I don't know. Did Jack ever have fun? Like to me, I don't want to I want to meet the guys. Like we're gonna go have some fun. Like is Jack a party guy?
But the world around him, like the PGA at that level, when everyone's going to like in tuxedos and to dinners and like I don't know, Arnold Palmer at the height of his game.
Chai. Actually, I did meet Chichi. I got to golf nice holes with him. One of the nicest guys ever. So
you played 9 holes with Chichi Rodriguez?
Yeah, in Alberta.
Did he do trick stuff?
Dude, it was unbelievable. I'll tell you, the greatest thing I've ever. Now, granted, it's not like I'm hanging out with like elite golfers in my life before. But so he was doing a demonstration beforehand. And so he had, I want to say it was like might have been a 7 or an 8 iron. I can't remember which one. And so anyway, he hits like, okay, watch this. I'm going to slice it, but it slices it. So it goes and then it comes right in the middle of the fairway, right? Lands. So he does a few times and he does it the other way. And then it, the opposite of a slice fade, right? So it comes in. So then he goes, watch this. Boom, hits one, hits the other one. The balls cross in midair. And
they didn't hit.
The second time they did, because the first time he's like, no, I just missed it. I'm like, what do you mean he just missed it? And then the second time, boom, he hits it. The balls collide midair at about 150 yards down the fairway. And I'm like, this guy's different level stuff, man. Like, obviously he's done it. Like, there was a few golfers that are just like, what? Like, you know how hard that would be? Obviously he's done it many times. And so when we golfed together and we talked, and asked him about the tour and everything, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. It goes, but I couldn't putt. And it's funny. So he says he couldn't putt, right? He goes, as far as a PGA guy on their course. Now, at the course we're playing, obviously wasn't a PGA course. But anyway, like he's draining every putt, 25-yarder, no problem. He's like, oh yeah, these greens, like they're easy to read, like no big deal. But he's like, well, I wasn't a really good putter. And so it just illustrates you, like any elite athlete, right? I don't care anybody who's an elite artist. You're an elite painter. Like people that are elite at something, like it's so impressive to me to do something that a lot of people will strive to be at, and they're not remotely close. Right. But so for him to be that good at something, and he was just a really genuinely nice guy, told us some unreal stories. And but man, could he ever hit the ball?
Any of the stories, or were they all?
You know what? There was more so the demonstration story that really remembers. He was big on his family, told me a lot about his wife and stuff. But he just talked about how, like, with Lee Trevino and Jack Nicklaus and those guys, like, together. And he's like, because I asked him, I said, like, you couldn't putt, but you like everybody remembered you, for your celebration. He goes, yeah, I did that to distract him from how many times I missed it. So, but he was a great dude, man.
It's amazing when you look at the list of the top paid athletes of all time. You've got Tiger at the top, and you've got Michael Jordan. How Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer are like 1.6 billion US and 1.5 billion US. And like these guys are in their mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You don't generally see old timey athletes in their mid 80s now be really rich.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how far ahead of their time they were, because they were doing business deals.
Oh, yes.
Right. And like their acumen that they both had, I wonder if they were pushing each other or something like that, because for them to be that wealthy this many years on is amazing.
Yeah, no, they were definitely really into the business side of sports before. Like, obviously, LeBron and them now, like, it's crazy. And like Michael Jordan obviously took it to a whole new level when he got the percentage of his sneakers, right? Like, are you kidding me? How much he makes now? Like, is he making like, I think even now he makes like, isn't it 500 million a year?
It's something crazy like that.
It's like ridiculous.
But you can touch Michael Jordan's products and see why he makes that money. That's what's so crazy about Nicklaus and Palmer, right? They both design golf courses.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways they made so much money. And I remember back in the day.
But you can play on the course, right? But it is for specialty people.
Yeah. But like Jordans, you see, like there's people here.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, lots of people have Jordans. That's fair. Yeah, definitely more for the masses.
But Jack Nicklaus gets like 20 million US to design a golf course in Maryland in 1998. That check still clears in 2024.
Yeah, no, it's very true. 5:02, Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz with you on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. We got Speck and Woodley, and your chance to go see some funny men, Jim Jeffries, Jimmy Carr, coming up before the top of the hour. Here's the comment. Sports 1440 update brought to you by High Street Insurance. They take the time to assess your commercial situation, ensuring you get coverage that's finely tuned to the nuances of your business operations. Started right here in Edmonton. Now they're national, but they'd always remember home. HighStreetInsurance.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Vancouver Canucks defenseman Carson Soucy will have a one-game suspension for cross-checking Connor McDavid at the end of Game 3 on a Sunday night. Canucks put defender Nikita Zadorov also receiving a $5,000 fine for his cross-check on Connor McDavid. On the ice tonight, 2 games. Rangers meet the Hurricanes in about 10 minutes' time. Rangers lead that series 3-1. Then at 7:30, the Stars in Denver taking on the Avalanche. Dallas up 2-1 in that one. In the association, we're a few minutes away from tip-off as the Cavaliers look to even up their series with the Celtics at 2 apiece. And then later tonight, Thunder in Dallas taking on the Mavericks. Mavs lead that series 2-1. The Toronto Blue Jays are in action. It's scoreless as they're in Baltimore taking on the Orioles heading into the third. Also scoreless Marlins and Tigers in the second. Later tonight, Phillies are in New York taking on the Mets. The Red Sox host the Rays. Cubs up against the Braves. Rangers host the Guardians. Angels take on the Cards. Reds in Arizona taking on the Diamondbacks. You got the Giants up against the Dodgers. Royals in Seattle, and one game postponed. Looks like to rain the White Sox and Nationals. PWHL playoffs. We're about an hour and a half away from puck drop as Minnesota takes on Toronto in their best-of-5 series. Toronto leading 2-0 from the NFL. The Detroit Lions are signing quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year contract extension worth $212 million, $170 of which is guaranteed. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and safety Antoine Winfield agreeing to terms on a 4-year deal worth $84 million. In the soccer world, according to reports, Jesse Marsh will be named the next head coach for the Canadian men's national team. Marsh expected to lead Canada to its June pre-Global American Games in Netherlands and France. And NASCAR will introduce a 5-car race in-season tournament with a $1 million prize in 2025. Under the format, the top 32 drivers will be placed in an NCAA tournament-style bracket in which the head-to-head result of each matchup will determine who advances to the next round in the following race. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goods, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey Edmonton, ready to power up your projects with unbeatable strength and efficiency? Step into Edmonton Kubota, where our massive inventory meets all your needs. From rugged tractors and loaders to nimble mowers and utility vehicles, we've got the machines that work as hard as you do. And guess what? This month, we're rolling out exclusive deals that'll make your heart race faster than our engines. Drive down to Edmonton Kubota or visit EdmontonKubota.com to discover how we can boost your efficiency, productivity, and fun. Edmonton Kubota, powering your passion with every turn of the key.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new strawberry blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Monday afternoon continues on. How are you? Made it through another day of work. You're back at it. It was a tough one. Late game last night. Little frustration in Ordersville. Totally understandable. Maybe want to blow off some steam. Get out for a jog, a little walk maybe. Mow your lawn. It's always well, that actually might give you a little bit more stress. Who's kidding who? Got to spray for some weeds here and dig out a few. It's always fun. So, hey, whatever you're doing, enjoy it because tomorrow you're back at it. You know it. You know you'll be watching as you should. It's playoffs. It's what you waited all year for as a fan. To have the frustration, the angst. I wonder how many of you couldn't go to sleep last night right away because you're so irked about the game. I applaud you. I applaud your fandom and in-depth connection to the team you support. Because if they win, you don't go to bed as early, but you go to bed in a much better mood. Like I'd be curious to talk to spouses. Like, what are the chances? Like, what is the get lucky factor? How much does it change after a win or a loss? Just curious. I wonder.
I count myself among the people who went to bed mad last night, Gregor. I sat there and watched highlights for a while. And I remember when I was little, I used to think, if only I could watch Sports Center all night, over and over and over, happy or mad. I just want to see the highlights. Well, it's
now you can.
2024.
Yeah.
And I did. I sat there and watched over and over all the posts they hit and just thought, oh.
The Perry goal was so close. Desharnais, they had chances. They definitely had chances. And so we'll see. We'll get into a lot of that and more. Like I've said before, all this talk about, Sheila, he's been great all series. What? He allowed 8 goals in the first 49 shots. In what world is that great? He was very good yesterday. 100%. It's one game. If the Oilers allow a career .906 save percentage AHL goalie to stone them again in game 4, they got bigger issues. He's right for the picking. It's one game. Figure it out in game 4 and 5. Let's get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring for the 2024 season laborers, pipe layers, pipe layer helpers, top men, top women, sewer and water foremen. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. Hired today. They are celebrating 50 years. Perfect. Now's the time to get in before the big bash. As we welcome Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet and Spec. Of course, Chris Knobloch, no surprise, is not unveiling who his starting goalie is going to be in game 4. Who do you think and why it will be said goalie tomorrow night?
I think he'll go back to Skinner tomorrow night. I'm not 100. No one's 100% on that. Nobody is, but that's my gut on that. And you know why? Because I think he wants to give him a chance to prove that, behind a better defensive effort, he can give him a good game. I want to say that there was 4 goals scored last night, and no one's saying Skinner doesn't need to make bigger saves and give you some big saves for sure. But if, with the Canucks at 18 shots on goal, if Fogle doesn't give that puck away, do they replace that with another goal somewhere? I'm not sure they do. If McDavid makes the proper read and covers Besser, does the Canucks get to 4? I'm not sure they do. So I guess what I'm saying, Jay, is the coach wants to see the goalie behind a better defensive team. And if he doesn't play well, then they're in trouble.
Yeah, no, that is totally valid. I think though, I'm gonna say Pickard is going to start for a variety of reasons. I think it's 3 games where Skinner in game 1 and 2 did allow goals he didn't love. There was no goals that were terrible in that game, but I'm not sure there was a big save made. And you know what? It seems like maybe the mental fatigue is more of an issue than the physical fatigue. Yeah. And I think and Knobloch, I always like to, I'm not going to say I read between the lines, but I try to pay attention a lot to what he says because there's some foreshadowing in some of his comments. And, he mentioned how, hey, whether Stu's back in game 4 or 5, he'll be good. We'll see him again. And I was like, all right. So I think we could see Pickard in game 4. And then regardless of the outcome, even if he wins, they're like, hey, our backup came in. He gave us a good game like he does in the regular season. Now we're going back to our starter.
Maybe. I mean, I'm with you all the way till you said if he plays good, he doesn't play again. If Pickard comes in and plays great, he may play again. And I wouldn't blame the coach for doing it. But all those theories are valid, Jay. It's you know what? The fact that the Oilers don't know who to start is a bit of a sign of what's going on with their goaltending. I think it was always Craig McTavish who said, if you have to ask the question, if your goaltending is good enough, you probably know the answer. So they're in a conundrum here. And the best way to solve this problem is for the defensive game to get much cleaner and better. And for guys to do what Brock Besser did, that is, don't hit the post, hit the net.
Yeah, totally valid. Yeah, that's like I've said it before in the show here. The order forwards in 3 games have 2 5-on-5 goals. The defense have 3. Right now, Ceci and Bouchard's shots went in off of Vancouver players. So you have 3 pucks that the Oilers have went in off of their own stick, 5-on-5 in this series. Ekholm 1, McDavid 1, Hyman 1. It's not good enough. And they're getting lots of chances. To me, well, we rip on Skinner. Hey, the goalie's got to be better. Well, to me, guess what? The forwards, bear down. It's your job. Beat a goal. This is not Shesterkin. This is not Vasilevsky when he's winning back-to-back cups. It's a young guy who in the first 2 games you still scored on, but you're not scoring on him 5-on-5. You're finding ways to beat him on the power play. So get a little bit dirtier, get second and third rebounds, and get in on goal and pay the price. That to me is what my message would be. It's easy to just say Skinner. I think the forward group's got to be a lot better 5-on-5.
Absolutely, for sure. Bear down on your chance, right? Like I say, Besser had 2 chances in that first period. He buried them both very nicely. He looked up, he picked his spot, and he hit it. Besides hitting posts, I think back to game 1 when Nugent Hopkins had the same chance and hit the post, didn't score, right? I mean, that's the difference in a series. If one team's hitting the net and scoring, the other team's hitting the post, you're going to take that into your summers. So everybody has to bear down on what they do well. And, if all 20 guys on both teams are playing to the top of their game, I like the Oilers better than Vancouver. We haven't seen that out of Edmonton yet, that's for sure.
Spec, do you think that Corey Perry coming aboard at the deadline has worked?
I don't know. Has it worked? I liked him in the regular season and I haven't liked him in the playoffs yet. So I guess I would define worked by saying you brought him in here to help you win in the playoffs. Has he helped you win in the playoffs? Until he starts delivering, right? Until we see the greasy Corey Perry affect the series, I would have to say no. I haven't seen where he's really, did he affect that LA series guys in any way that I can't remember?
Yeah, not overly. So, you know what? Yes, I think they can get a little bit more from him. You can get more from Fogle. You can get like Ryan McLeod. You can get more from, pretty much like Dylan Holloway was great in game 2 against LA, but since then, you know what? They got nothing offensively. Derek Ryan, Matthias Jan, go down the list, right? Pretty much Nugent Hopkins, Evander Kane. Like, man, there's lots of guys offensively here that need to get going. And you know what? Tomorrow night, we know Soucy now, Spec. He's got a 1-game suspension. I think this is a pretty good break. If you look at what happened in the last series for Nashville, when Myers, now not suspended, but missed a game because he was banged up, and they were leading 3-1. He sat out game 5, and him and Soucy had played majority of their minutes against Nashville's top line, just like they've done in this series. Well, now, guess what they did in that game, Spec, with no Myers? They didn't play they just put Jolson in his place, but they didn't play him and Soucy against their top line. They mixed it around, and then they played more of Hughes and Roenick, and they played more of Cole and Zadorov in that one game, and they lost. And so if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, here's my question, Spec. If they team up Zadorov with Myers for one game, because a lefty-righty, I would for sure then split up McDavid and Draisaitl, because then I got both of my guys on 2 separate lines, and one of them is going to get at times Jolson and Cole. Not every shift, but they're going to get some shifts against them, and I want to try to take that matchup. Well, how do you think what do you think Tocchet does with his defense pairings, number one, and then B, do you think that impacts at all Knobloch's lineup decisions?
Well, I think if he didn't like Jolson with Soucy against Nashville, he's probably going to do something different, right? I don't like putting Jolson into my lineup and playing him with a guy that I think is going to have to play against top competition. Jolson's got to come in as my 6th guy. He's not playing. It's not fair to put him in and give him prime matchup. So I'm going to suggest that Myers and Zadorov move together. I think the most important thing for Edmonton is to get Draisaitl and McDavid apart and start getting back to be a proper hockey team that plays some element of 4 lines. McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman playing 27 minutes and everyone else playing 8. It hasn't worked. It doesn't work, and it won't work. It's intoxication that every Oilers coach, going back to McClellan, to Tippett, to Woodcroft, to Hitchcock, they all fell for it. It's catnip for coaches, and Knobloch's right in the elixir right now, man. He's drunk on it. He's got to get up, sober up, and spread his ice time around. You can't win as a 3-man team. He's trying and failing at it right as we speak.
Yeah, it's a good analogy, Spec. Who gave you that one? It's quite good.
I know a writer.
Yeah, but I like it. It's true, right? Like 30 minutes in the game, and I see them sitting there, and so what? You know what? You got to get other guys going, and the best way to do it is split. They played the majority of the season in the first round against LA. Guess what? McDavid and Draisaitl played a grand total of 8 minutes together, 5-on-5. And they scored enough goals. They scored 12 goals, which is second most 5-on-5 in the first round. And they only played 5 games. So they can do it. So stop telling yourself that it can only be done if they're together. I totally agree with you. I'd split them up.
Yep, I'm splitting them up. And I always say this, and it's because it's true. If you start them apart, you got a plan B to put them together later on in the game if it's not going well. If you start them together, you got no plan B because you don't get a stronger offense by pulling them apart. So we've all been watching. I know Knobloch's only been here this season. Guys like the three of us, we've been watching this thing for 6-7 years. It's the jury's back here. You start them on separate lines and you're a better team, and you're going to win a bunch of games without ever putting them together. And on the odd occasion when you're having a flat night and guys aren't going, well, you mix your lines up, you put them together. There's no more guesswork here, guys. We know how it works in Edmonton.
Yeah, no, it's totally valid. I think it's something that they have to strongly consider. Last one, Spec. What about the Carrick to Ryan? Do you think it's is it a significant move? Did you do it now? Do you need Carrick's size a little bit more than Derek Ryan?
I think Carrick's freshness wouldn't hurt. Ryan, I'm not going to critique any guy who played as little as Ryan played last night. It's not fair. When you play so sporadically, they throw you out there all of a sudden. You don't have a sweat on. He missed a clear on that first goal, right? On the Lindholm goal. So he made a mistake. I'm not burying a guy who made one mistake. He barely played. But I don't mind. I don't like the fact that Vancouver's pushing Edmonton around a little bit. They're certainly taking liberties with Edmonton's best player. And, Ryan, there's things about Ryan that's better than Carrick, but the things about Carrick that are better than Ryan is he's way tougher and he's way more physical. So the Oilers need to up their physical play. They're getting pushed around and beat up. So bringing Carrick in can't hurt.
Yeah. Spec, we'll see you at the rink tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right, boys.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. It's very well said. It's catnip for coaches. I'm drunk on it. And it's like, stop it. It's ridiculous. There's no need to do it. So go back. You were leading 2-0 in game one. You had the game in control. Yeah, you ended up losing, but Draisaitl and McDavid played a part. Draisaitl looked completely healthy to me last night. This whole attitude, well, he's playing, maybe it's McDavid who's hurt and they're playing Draisaitl to protect McDavid, right? Maybe that's because they're not doing it to protect Draisaitl. Draisaitl looked awesome last night, just like he did in game two. So I would split them up and away you go and be confident that they're split up. They can still win. The Lotto 649 line split up. I'm not worried about it. So do it. When we come back, scouting report with Kevin Woodley on Skinner, Pickard, Sheilofs. Is there an area that the Oilers should be exploiting that they're not? Find out next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 wager with a $5 deposit at PlayAlberta.ca.
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids, presented by GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and courage. Tickets are $75, including entry into a mountain getaway draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50-50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local Kidsport Kids registration fees. Visit kidsportbidsforkids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit BIEENG.com.
The savings continue at the Bricks Tent Sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
The Adventure Calls event is on at Chevrolet. Right now, get the 2024 Silverado 1500 RST at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and available adaptive cruise control, you can get off the open road and just enjoy the calm, quiet, scenic, great outdoors. Back to the truck! Visit your local Chevrolet dealer for details.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson here. We all know how unpredictable Edmonton weather is. Extended falls to late winters, and who knows what spring and summer will bring. Regardless of the outdoors, your indoors will be comfortable with Weiss Johnson and Goodman. Whether it's a new Goodman air conditioner, heat pump, or furnace, using our expertise, we'll give you the best quote on Goodman products with no misleading information or offers. Just what's best for your family. Visit wjcools.com today.
Catch the Edmonton Stingers basketball home opener on June 2nd at the Edmonton Expo Center. Enjoy affordable family fun with a $5 food and drink menu and free parking. Tickets start at just $20. Visit thestingers.ca/tickets.
Jump into spring with a leap of faith and a special offer from Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling. Book now and enjoy a 10% discount on our concrete lifting, void filling, or foundation services. It's our way of saying thanks for choosing the experts in elevation. Don't wait. Spring special is on for a limited time. Visit trademarkleveling.com or call 780-691-LIFT. That's 780-691-5438. Trademark Concrete Lift and Leveling, where your ground gets a new lease on life.
Introducing Tim's new flatbread pizza, served hot out of the oven in 4 delicious flavors with Simply Cheese, starting from $6.99 plus tax. There's a new Tim's run in town. Try one today. Terms and conditions apply at participating restaurants in Canada.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
'27. Oh, we've been waiting all day for our next guest. For many of you, we'll hear from Kevin Woodley coming up here as we go in the room. Brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and huge coming up on Friday. Somebody's going to win $15,000 solar panel. Good courtesy of Action Electrical. We had all the contestants. We'll wait. Friday, Pause on Friday is going to be extra special for one of you. Hopefully it's you, courtesy of actionelectrical.net. As we welcome to the show from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com, Kevin Woodley. Mr. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm guessing that Oilers Nation maybe not so much right about now when it comes to the goaltending question.
Ooh, dude, you're in high demand today. So I know you've watched the series closely. Yesterday I didn't see any glaring weakness like there's the Doroff goal and the Garland goal. I'm sorry, those goals can't go in game 1 and 2 for sure. But yesterday though, I saw the shot we've talked about, short side over the pad, boom, it's in. Now maybe those are just great shots. Like Besser, the one, I'm like, I don't think any goalie stopping it was a great shot, but. Like the power play goal from Lindholm late in that game. Like, what do you make of Skinner? What do you see in there? He said it's maybe a little bit more mental at this time, more than physical. He said there's some small technical things. Is there anything technical? Because he can't change his style. Everyone says, come out more. And that's not who he is. So I don't think he's going to change that. Is there anything technical you've seen that could be tweaked?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to give you one caveat real quick. 100% on the Zadorov. Connor Garland's done that to other guys, handful of other guys in the league. So it's a good move. I'm not excusing the goal, but he's made other goalies look the same type of silly with that play. I don't think you can say, come on out and challenge. That's not who he is. That's not how he plays. At the end of the day, you got a 40 goal scorer in Brock Besser with time and space to pick his spots. and he picked them and he hit them. And for all the talk about posts aren't good goaltending at the other end, I could ask the question whether they're picking their spots or whether they're hitting the post. And Arturs is doing a good job of being in the middle of the net and making them go around him, nothing through him. Besser hit his spots just over the pads like you talk, whether short side or far side, tough saves, either one. It's a 40-goal guy with time and space. The Lindholm goal was such a weird one that I have trouble being critical of it just because of the way that puck goes under his skate, right? Like when he's pulling that under, it's such a weird move. I don't know how I'd read it. And at the end of the day, it looks bad because it ends up going in along the ice. And this is where, again, like I don't think you can change how you play. I don't think you're going to change who you are at this point. And the reality for Stuart Skinner, and it's in the pre-scout, it's in the stuff I did for NHL.com. Like the reality is he's just a narrower butterfly goalie. And the only way for him to get those pads and that extension is to pitch forward. Like that's the only move he's got. I know everybody says you want to save there, but the strengths and weaknesses of his game, the weaknesses are he's limited laterally. There are limitations to his speed, his explosiveness, and his extendability laterally. And it's sort of diametrically opposed to Shilov's, who has that ability to go super wide butterfly and make those pushes and make those plays. So I have a little trouble almost being critical of the Lindholm one. Well, at the same time, I'm with you, Jason. Like I get it. And Skinner will say the same thing. You need a save. You need one more save. First one's deflected. So listen, at the end of the day, I don't think you can change. I think post play, the way they attacked him early on down low, the JT Miller goal, really tough deflection. Again, I'm like, if that's Leon Draisaitl, are we hearing criticism of Draisaitl on Seelovs on the second goal last night? Because the Miller's almost the same type of play. You can't get into your post to tuck in because you're not expecting that velocity from that spot. And I think even less so on the Miller play than Draisaitl, who does it all the time. So there are elements to nitpick. There are elements that are just, this is who Stuart Skinner is. He is not an explosive lateral goalie. We talked about it off the rush. It exists in end zone play too. He's been, for the most part, really good on those types of plays all season long. And he just hasn't had as many of those saves in the playoffs. You said he talked about mental today. In zone on these plays, he was better in the regular season. Like I've talked before about being top 5, and he's not right now. And how much of that is the time and space you're giving to a guy like Brock Besser that wasn't happening in the regular season? You know, I can't say. But in the playoffs, your strengths and weaknesses get exposed more than any other time in the year. And clearly the Canucks, even the way Besser pulls and tries to change the angle, they're being targeted. They are clearly looking for that move from narrow to wide set. And when he gets into that wide, that's when they're either routing it over the pads or they're making their passes. Like JT Miller, the tap-in power play goal to Elias Pettersson in game 2, that's a great fake. But he is clearly looking for Skinner to widen out. And as soon as he does, he's stuck. A lot of goalies get like that. This is not just on Stuart Skinner, but it's something they're looking for because as soon as he widens out, that limits his lateral mobility further. And that's when they're looking to make plays east-west. Or, like I said, widen out and then route the puck just over his pads. Because once you dig in, you're protected up top with your hands, a little tougher to get to those low ones.
Kevin Woodley joins us from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com. So, Kevin, Skinner or Pickard? Pickard hasn't started a game since April 17th. He did come in relief on the 18th. We talked a lot about rest and, mental stuff and everything else. Pickard played in the third period, but he didn't face a shot from inside 48 feet, so I'm not sure we can really gauge much about that period. What would you do? What would go on in the conversation? Like, because I can see arguments both ways. Which way would you lean and why?
I'd want to be part of those conversations, right? Like, let's not forget, I'm a guy who in this market in Vancouver said I would have started Casey DeSmith in game 6 in Nashville, and I would have started him in game 2 against the Canucks. I thought Artur Silovs looked entirely out of sorts in game 1 against Edmonton.
Yes.
And I didn't think he was out of his depth in terms of the moment being too big, because that's not who he is. It's never been about the moment. It was about the pace and the speed of the Oilers' attack, something he had never seen before. And so I was advocating that you go to Casey DeSmith, but he worked with the goalie coach in the morning. They worked on his post play, flattening him out and some of the things, the details that were missing in game 1, and he executed them in game 2. And I obviously look stupid for suggesting it be anyone but Artur Silovs after game 1. You almost need to know, you need to know the individual, right? Like if you do think that Stewart's got a couple little technical things you do need to adjust in his game at this point, tactical. Maybe it's some of those post-play elements. Then maybe that takes the day, and maybe you get your best out of him if you give him game 4 off and let him reset some of those elements. But if that's mostly lip service and him just sort of talking through and giving us something to talk about, then and you believe that he doesn't need that time, I think you go back to him. He's your guy. That said, I understand like the numbers just aren't there. Even if I go goal by goal and can sort of find reasons for it and not be as hypercritical as everyone, they don't add up. At the end of the day, they don't add up. And Pickard's a guy that gave you good minutes. Not exceptional, all about the environment. But if that's all you need right now, he's a veteran guy who doesn't seem rattled by much.
You mentioned the Shelovs, and you were thinking on going to dismiss. So, because I said the Oilers scored 8 goals in the first 49 shots on him. And yesterday, I know he stopped 42 of 45. Good on him. But the Oilers, you know what? Corey Perry's one almost went in. Desharnais had a great chance and knocked through him, but then they stopped it behind him. Then the Oilers, beat him some clean ones, hit the goalpost. Like he, to me, still looks beatable. So if you're the Oilers and you're seeing it, like more second opportunities, I don't see a lot of that. But where should they be attacking that maybe they didn't in Game 3?
Well, interesting. Like on the post stuff, like I'll go the other way, right? Like if he's got you thinking you have to be bar down perfect, then that's advantage him, right?
Yes.
Like if Brock Besser gets a puck and is like, I'm shooting this over Stuart Skinner's pads because I believe it's got a really good chance of going in, and you're feeling like you have to go tuck it above Artur Shilov's shoulders and just in or under the crossbar, then there's less margin for error. And so he's winning that battle if that's the case. But I'm with you. For all the attention on Skinner, and again, the numbers say it's understandable. It's rightly so. Artur Shilov's is below expected for the series. Like his performance relative to expected for the series. If I'm the Oilers, I'm more worried about the quality of chances that I didn't create amongst those 42 shots in game number 3. Yeah, there were some quality looks, but to your point, not a lot of second chances. They won this. They weren't getting to the interior against this Canucks defense the way they did earlier in the series. So, I think if you're Edmonton, you might feel like there might be a dam about to burst there. In terms of how you do it, like traffic to me is the one thing. You look at the Draisaitl goal and the one-timer on the power play. That wasn't about Draisaitl's shot. He actually didn't hit it as well as he normally does. That was about Seelov's getting caught on the wrong side of a screen. Something we've seen happen during the regular season. I told you 6 screen shots in his 4 regular season appearances. 3 of them went in. Against Nashville, screen chances, finding pucks through traffic. Like those, we tend to think of, we just got to create dynamic offensive plays, east, west, down low, through the slot line, in tight, backdoor tap-ins. Guess what? This kid is fast, and he's got that extension in his pads that we just said Skinner doesn't. Like he can extend length, gloves over top of the pads to cut off vertical angle. You almost play to his strengths trying to create dynamic offense that he can read, whereas point shots, traffic, those are things that he still hasn't figured out what side of the screen to be on as consistently as guys with more experience. So it kind of goes counterintuitive, like, hey, we should try and create more dynamic offense to beat this guy. And yet sometimes simple traffic, they certainly need more of that, in my opinion, to really make him more uncomfortable than he's looked at any point in this series.
If you're looking at a team like the Oilers that are in the second round right now, who knows, might go to the conference finals, what's a reasonable expectation to put for a workload at a starting goalie? Like, should they be starting all games, all series, or is it best practice to give them the night off sometimes as a bounce back? Like, what do you think is best practices for this?
Well, that's a tough one. I think you kind of look at, what the regular season looked like. And actually, I'm a little embarrassed by this, but like when was the most that I don't have this off the top of my head, but what was the most that Stewart started in a row during the regular season? Like what was the,
it was in January though, when they only played 11 games. And I think he started 6 in a row, maybe 7. And
that's over a course of a much longer period than
yes.
like every second night. Like, well, although they did have a week off in between the two series, right? So I'll be honest with you. The game's never been tougher, and a lot of it is mental as opposed to physical. So maybe there is a toll. But this is it'll be his 4th game in 8 nights, but after a week off. I don't know that you're looking at we need to get this guy a physical rest. If you think there are elements of his game that need reset with little practice time that you haven't otherwise been allotted, and he would after a morning skate if he doesn't worry about his rest tomorrow, if you're worried about the mental toll. And hey, we've talked about this before. I've said this before on the show. Like asking this, I've always felt he's equipped to handle it mentally. But asking a second-year starter to carry the load and be your guy and a cup contender was always a big ask. I just thought he was up for it. I'm still not convinced he's not in terms of the mental side of things. But that is a lot of pressure, and that is a lot to put on him. And if you feel that's getting to him, then maybe a reset would help. Again, questions that only they know. The relationship that a Dustin Schwartz has built with the Stuart Skinner can really tell, hey, like, what does he look like in practice? What are some of the signs that I look for to know my guy's on top of his game and I can trust him to be back at that level in game 4?
Yeah, it's a very valid question. So I like what you said about Edmonton. Like the other thing is, Kev, they're not getting a lot of second chances. You talked about screens on Shelovs. That's his weakness. I don't think Edmonton's come close to taking advantage of that yet, especially 5-on-5.
No, and not a lot again, and this is like, it's counterintuitive, right? Like, this is a team that creates dynamic offense, and they've been pinning Vancouver in their own end off the cycle. But almost at times, like I said this about Thatcher Demko, like when you're trying to create bang plays down low, you're playing into his strength. He might be one of the best goalies in the entire league down low on lateral plays in tight. Higher in the zone is where you can maybe attack him. And I think there might be an element of that with Shelovs. And yet your instinct is like low slot line plays are how you score in today's National Hockey League. And we've got players that can do that. So let's do it. It might be a little too counterintuitive to be trying, hey, like point shots and tips and traffic. Like that doesn't feel dynamic. It feels like there's an element of luck involved sometimes for teams. And I think there are teams, Vancouver's one of them, that they have been quite good at it all year. We saw the deflection on the Lindholm goal the other day or last night. So, you don't want a team to come out of its DNA in terms of how they create offense, but certainly it wouldn't hurt the Oilers to work a little more with traffic, with screens. And hey, easier said than done against this defense, although it might get a little easier without Carson Soucy in game 4. But getting to those second chances, paying the price to win those battles against a pretty strong physical defense core, especially once you're past Hughes and Hronek, is something they're probably going to have to do here.
Yeah. Kev, it should be fascinating to see what the Oilers do tomorrow with their goaltending, but also how they attack Shelovs. Great rundown as always. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
There you go. It's Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com. And as I've been saying off top of the show, man, I know there's a lot of focus on the Oilers goaltending and it needs to be better. But the free pass to the forwards not producing has to stop. 2 goals, 5-on-5 by the forwards in 3 games. It ain't good enough. They got to be way better. We'll come back with Wanye's World and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. 546. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you on Sports 1440. Waters Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Let's get to Wanye's World, brought to you by Action Electrical. You want to take some savings on your energy bills? We'll get a 10-year interest-free loan for solar panels on your home right now at actionelectrical.net.
Gregor, I don't know if you follow the Moose Jaw Warriors since your nephew Noah stopped playing for the team.
Up 2-0 in the WHL final, buddy. The Furka Circus, 2 goals. They dominated Portland.
Went into Portland and spanked them 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Moose Jaw Warriors could win the WHL?
Oh,
Gregor?
God, yeah. For the first time ever.
They won it once as the Moose Jaw Canucks.
Yes, okay, but that was so long ago.
Well, 1940s was a moment ago, Gregor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But do you think they could?
Well, of course, they're up 2-0. Now they're at home. But as we've seen in Denver, like there's no guarantee, but they're going to come in, man. The Jaw is going to be absolutely crazy tomorrow night. Like how fun that it'll be sold out for sure.
For sure.
The entire town will be there. Everybody,
Rockin'.
like it'll be sold out. Plus, there'll be standing room only, as it should be. Those small market teams like that. We saw PA win a few years ago. I was talking to Stuart Skinner about when Swift Current won with him. It's a big deal for those smaller markets, right? It just helps them for, the next few years and different things like that financially. And, for an organization that hasn't, there's never really won, they haven't been in the WHL final, I think, since 2006. So yeah, it's a big deal in Moose Jaw. I think it's going to be awesome if they can pull it off.
It's fun to watch. Like we're watching the Oilers simultaneously as we're watching the Warriors, right? Watching on the WHL app. Just the difference of like the kids get so pumped up when they score too. It's quite fun, right? And the Furka Circus is out there doing great things. Could be the best modern day Moose Jaw Warrior, and yet he's still.
Yeah, it'd be hard to be Braden Point, but yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Braden Point, though, you have to remember too, has like the awesome NHL career now. The Furka Circus doesn't yet.
Yes.
But like the excitement he's generating as a Warrior.
Oh yeah,
they're goo for him.
No, he's a thrilling player to watch for sure.
So anyway, shout out to the Warriors. To give away some free Oodle Noodle today to build good vibes, text the text line 1-833-401-1440. Even if you don't love the Moose Jaw Warriors, just pretend. How am I supposed to know? How can Connor know if you actually love the Moose Jaw Warriors? Just pretend you love the Moose Jaw Warriors. Send good vibes in for the Moose Jaw Warriors in Game 3, and you could win 4 boxes of free Oodle Noodle. How easy is that? 4.
Ooh.
We're going to the final.
All right. Okay. Nice. All right. So get in 833-401-1440. What do you guys got to do? Like send in a comment about Moose Jaw?
Positive. Like I've loved Moose Jaw since 1994. Even if you were born in 2000, how could we know?
Maybe I love the tour of the tunnels, which Wanye, even though he's been there hundreds of times, has never gone. It's a fail. On the tourist side of Wanye, that is a big fail.
You don't have to
You know what? How about we'll make a deal? If they win the WHL, you have to go on the tunnel tour.
Sure, I'll make content.
Yeah, there you go. That should be your thing. Yeah. Dear. Well, you heard it, Connor. And he's kind of scared of going underground. So this will be fantastic. It'll be great. Yeah. No, they're really good, man. That's honestly, I've been watching them. Trust me, I'm rooting for the Warriors. Like Portland's won lots, are a very good franchise. But for Moose Jaw to win, that would be fantastic. So I am rooting for them.
You don't think they could win the Mem Cup, do you, Gregor?
The Memorial Cup? Well, anything can happen. You know what? It's tough when you get there for sure. They had a really grueling series against Saskatoon that went 6 games in overtime out of 7, which is crazy. So to me, I think the key for them would be if they could win this in 4 or 5 and limit their travel, then just give them a little bit extra time off. Then they got a chance. But there's obviously some good teams in the O and the KU, and so yeah, it would be hard. It's not impossible, but like I do know, talking to the players, like it's hard because when you win the league championship, that's like winning your championship, right? And you celebrate and everything's great. And then you kind of have to gear back up. Like no other sport does it. Like no other sport does it, right? Because you win your league and there's no other sport that does this really. So
soccer.
Well, not at that time. Like they have Champions League, but that's like the next year. You don't get a Champions League right after winning your league title.
But they'll be doing international friendlies throughout the year and doing different things, and the teams recombine, and you win this to get to there.
But it's not like when you do an international friendly, it's like a preseason game. You know what I mean? Like it's mixed in. Like everybody goes for the cup, and then you win your cup, and then you got to go win another cup. There's nobody that does it. That's what makes it unique. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's hard at times for some teams and some players, especially an organization maybe that's never won. Because trust me, I think they're going to party hard if they win. So, and I don't, the city, they'll have lots of events. I'm not just saying party and get drunk or anything. I'm just saying there'll be lots of events and different things, and you kind of get caught up in it. So
we have the largest moose in the world in Moose Jaw, Gregor. Mac the Moose. I'm sure you're familiar with his work.
No, yeah, I've seen him.
If they win the WHL or the Mem Cup, heaven forbid.
The Memorial Cup.
You're right. I apologize.
Memorial.
I apologize. Memorial
Very
Cup.
sticklers about that.
I respect the troops
Yeah.
and I respect you.
Exactly.
If they win the Memorial Cup, we may have to get a second Mac.
Yeah.
And build a second world's largest moose in Moose Jaw.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would be an unreal story if they did, right? It'd be fantastic. So, but, there's only, you got a 25% chance when you get there, right? 1 out of 4. So it's all right.
The
But
London Knights.
win the league first. Don't look ahead of yourself. Hey, look at ask Timberwolves fans. They were up 2-0. Everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to beat the champs. And now now it's 2-2 and they've lost home floor advantage. So
I got the binoculars on. I'm looking down the road.
yes. Hey, look down the road, but that's good. It's exciting. It's on tomorrow night. So I know some people will be paying attention to it. So good luck to all of the Warrior fans out there. Clearly there's many of you based on the text line. Oof, lots of texts coming in for that. You know what? Out of the text line cons, we're going to pick also a random winner for the tickets to go see Jim Jeffries and Jimmy Carr, courtesy of Outback Presents. That's coming September 8th. So you'll have lots of time. So one of you is going to win Oodle Noodle, and then the next random winner is going to win tickets to see Jimmy Carr and Jim Jeffries. Coming up, Turn Sports, lots more wall-to-wall coverage here on Sports 1440 after a Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Strawberry lovers, you can rejoice with the triumphant return of the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball, a fan favorite of strawberries, cashews, vanilla, and coconut. Try one today at Booster Juice. Good night.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Vancouver Canucks defenseman Carter Soucy will be suspended for 1 game for his cross-check on Oilers forward Connor McDavid at the end of Game 3 on Sunday. Also, Nikita Zadorov receiving a $5,000 fine for his cross-check, the maximum allowable under the CBA. 2 games on the ice tonight. After 20 minutes, Rangers and Hurricanes scoreless out at MSG. The Rangers lead that series 3-1. And at 7:30 tonight, the Stars take on the Avalanche. Dallas up 2-1 in that one. On the hard court, right now, Cavaliers and Celtics playing in Cleveland. Celtics up 51-46 in the second quarter. Boston leads that series 2-1. And later tonight, the Mavericks, they'll look to take a 3-1 series lead over the Thunder when they meet. Tip-off at 7:30. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays in action right now, trailing the Orioles 1-0. That's in the top of the 6th. In the 5th, Marlins and Tigers tied at 3 apiece. The Mets have a 2-1 lead over the Phillies in the 3rd. And in the 2nd, the Rays and Red Sox tied at 3. Still to come tonight, the Athletics are in Houston. Angels host the Cards. Reds travel to the desert, take on the Diamondbacks. The Mariners host the Royals, and the Dodgers in San Fran. PWHL playoffs, Minnesota looking to stay alive as they host Toronto in Game 3 of their best of 7. Puck drop, or best of 5. Puck drop in about 10 minutes time. Toronto up 2-0. And from the NFL world, the Detroit Lions signing quarterback Jared Goff a 4-year contract extension worth $212 million, $170 million guaranteed. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keeping safety Antoine Winfield in Florida. It's a 4-year deal worth $84.1 million. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Turn Sports, followed by Fox Radio at 9 o'clock. And then local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas, and Hockey Hall of Famer Grant Beer. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.